Welcome to a Steeler Thoughts Chief Feelings film review. I'm Ajay and this video reviews the Chiefs' 32-29 AFC Championship Game victory over the Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl for the 5th time in 6 years, and they're looking to be the first team to ever three-peat. As always, this video is broken into chapters, so if there's a specific section you want to look at, just take a look at it. You can scroll down at the scroll bar or check the links in the description. Otherwise, if you want to stick through the whole thing, just stick with us here. Let's get into the film review. A lot was made going into this game about the turnover battle. And on one level, that makes sense, right? Like most games go the way that the turnovers go. As a reason why NFL coaches harp on it all the time. However, this game, I feel like it was especially a large talking point, namely because the Chiefs hadn't turned over the ball since the last time they played the Bills, and the Bills had not lost the turnover battle all year. They were really coming in as a team that was kind of on the historic end of having very few turnovers through the season. So more than ever, it seemed like a game that was two teams that had been playing very clean football. The Bills, in particular, had done well to force turnovers a lot during the season, and their defense, really their quality of their defense, seemed to be somewhat dependent on their ability to force turnovers. The defense wasn't doing so hot when it wasn't able to force turnovers. Anyway, ended up being a big talking point, and ultimately the Chiefs turned the ball over once, and the Bills didn't turn the ball over at all. Bills continued to win the turnover battle, but the Chiefs won the game. However, going back and watching through this game, it doesn't seem like a Bills performance that was clean. And we're going to go through some plays here that were actually like pretty sloppy. And it's honestly shocking to me that the Bills didn't turn the ball over in this game. So we're going beyond the basic turnover stats to show that, the Chiefs actually got a lot of opportunities from the Bills. They got the Bills in positions, and the Bills created positions where they really could have turned the ball over. A lot of balls bounced their way. Chiefs DBs occasionally didn't make catches, but let's look all into it. Basically answer the question, how the heck did the Bills not turn the ball over in this game? So let's start with 14:22 to go in the first quarter. This is the second play from scrimmage for the Bills. Their first play was about a 6-yard run from Josh Allen, a 4-yard run from Josh Allen. So they've got second and about 6 in a scoreless game just getting started. So let us run this, and then we'll talk about the play. So you've got Allen in the gun. He's got 2 to the left, 2 in the backfield, and 1 to the right. He fakes a handoff to James Cook and throws over the middle, and it goes right through the hands of Brian Cook, the safety. I remember being furious when I saw this, that, oh my God, Josh Allen just gave us one and we weren't able to get it done. So the Bills look like they are in 21 personnel. I don't know their personnel very well, but this is clearly James Cook. This looks like a fullback. And that looks like Dalton Kincaid. It's certainly a tight end. It's either Schultz or Kincaid. And they've got Mack Hollins, the wide receiver here, and is that Amari Cooper over there? I think so. So anyway, it looks like 2 running backs and 1 tight end, which is what gets you 21 personnel. The Chiefs have matched that by coming out in their base. They've got 3 linebackers and 4 defensive backs. And they're essentially playing a cover 2, but not really honoring the flats too much. So you've got your deep half safety, but if you notice, the corners kind of give some cushion here. They're not really challenging the flats. They're more just dropping back in coverage. So what the Bills end up doing is they end up pulling a guard. If you watch here, they pull their center. So their center pulls to help block the edge right here, as everybody else kind of blocks down. Then they bring the fullback out as like a lead blocker and have this swing action for James Cook after the play action. So you can see it here. They kind of get the center out here on the edge to make sure the edge is taken care of. And then they've got a fullback coming out to lead, and James Cook is coming out this way. At the same time, the tight end, this looks like it's actually Schultz. Or no, Kincaid is 88, right? Look, I told you I don't know the Bills personnel that well. But they've got the tight end coming across the middle. They've got Hollins coming on a more of a post route. And then they've got Amari Cooper working up the field on the right side. Allen gets pressured because they decide to leave Chris Jones one-on-one, which if you read the next-gen stats from this game, they did that 11 times in the first half, and Chris Jones got 7 pressures on those 11 snaps. So, not a great idea to leave Chris Jones one-on-one. So part of this, I think, is Chris Jones kind of sped Josh Allen up, and he just sailed this throw. I'm thinking he went there because he liked the matchup of Hollins on Nick Bolton. But it is a little bit of a congested area, right? They don't have another route challenging the safeties deep, so they're able to sit on this route. Nobody's making them drop farther back, or nobody on the outside is challenging them. So it's not a huge window, and Bolton ends up with actually pretty good coverage on this play. Keep that in your mental bank, because I feel like Bolton gets a lot of crap for his coverage, but he does a pretty good job staying with Mack Hollins on this one. The question I have for Josh Allen is just that it looks like this play design would have really worked out great, right? You've got Cook, you've got a lead blocker. We haven't seen it yet in this game, it's right at the very beginning, but Cook ended up doing very well on the edges against the Chiefs. I don't know that I would want to challenge Trent McDuffie, but, he's 8 yards down the field from Cook, 10 yards down the field from Cook. Well, from Cook, he's even a little more than 10, maybe 12. But he's down here. If you swing this over to Cook and you have one lead blocker, that's actually not that bad on a 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. I wonder if part of the reason he didn't turn back was the quick pressure from Chris Jones and just trusting his guy against Nick Bolton. But in any case, this was a ball that should have been intercepted. He overthrew it, and Brian Cook, I think, was a little surprised that it just got right to him. And his hands are a little late. I think he was surprised by the ball, and he's not able to corral it. But it felt like such a missed opportunity in the moment. And the first play that really could have and should have been a turnover by the Bills, but ultimately will just go down as an incomplete pass in this 0 turnover game. But here you see from Allen, look at that. Oh, he threw it right to Cook. And it's too bad Cook I think the ball really surprised him on that one. He wasn't able to corral it, and it falls harmlessly incomplete. All right, so we jump to the very next play. 14-17 to go in the first quarter. Third play from scrimmage. And the Bills are in a 3rd and about 6. Let's run this play and then we'll talk about it. So we've got Josh Allen in the shotgun. He's got 2 to his left, 2 to his right, and he motions Shakir over to get a 3-by-1. Chiefs look to be adjusting. Allen takes the snap. Again, he's got pressure, this time from Dana and Chris Jones. He rolls left and throws it, and the ball's tipped by Najee Johnson and by Brian Cook, and somehow neither of them is able to intercept it. Another play that'll just go down as a harmless incompletion. So taking a look at this, the Chiefs are going to run not that exotic of a coverage, but a slightly different coverage in which they're actually going to blitz Nick Bolton and drop George Karlaftis. Just try to see if they can confuse the Bills' protections. So they're actually just rushing 4. It's a simulated pressure, but these are the 4 that are rushing. And Karlaftis is going to drop back, and they essentially run a cover 2 again. So they've got 2 deep halves in the middle of the field. They've got, so I should add that. Jaden Hicks, who's playing the deep half here, is going to rotate down, and Justin Reed is going to take one half, and Brian Cook takes the other. Justin Reed kind of plays a Tampa 2 role here where it's not just Justin Reed. Jaden Hicks plays like a Tampa 2 role where he's carrying up the field. So it ends up, for all intents and purposes, it ends up being like a cover 3. So we've got basically 1, 2, 3, 4 underneath with the DBs taking the sidelines and then having 2 underneath middle defenders, and Jaden Hicks vacates when he's got a deeper route and carries it up the seam. So the Bills' route combination this time, they're going to have from this side, Samuel run a drag route. Coleman is going down the field. This is Kincaid is coming across. And Shakir runs an in cut. So Allen seems to be reading the left side of the field, which is unfortunate for him because Samuel coming across on the drag route is a great option. The other routes are kind of taking the underneath defenders a little bit farther down the field. And so as Samuel comes across, there isn't really anyone to pick him up. But it looks like Allen is looking for Shakir or Coleman. He's definitely looking to his left, possibly for Kincaid too. One of these 3 routes he's looking at, he's not reading the drag at all. And as he hits the back of his drop, he kind of runs out of time before anybody comes open. Even Samuel hasn't made huge headway, and Dana gets around, and then he's getting pressure from Chris Jones too. Dana actually does a good job of kind of grabbing, trying to swipe at his arm. He gets away. Chris Jones then is able to at least grab him enough to spin him around. And at this point, Allen's just trying to get rid of it. And at this time, Connor has come down to try to help on Samuel. Shakir's open in the middle of the field, but how's Allen going to see that? He's just spun out of trouble, and he's coming this way. So he sees Coleman deep, but Najee Johnson actually does a good job of, he had initially come up seeing Samuel in the flat, but once Connor takes him, Najee drops back. And as he drops back, Allen essentially throws it right to him. I mean, gosh, you'd really love him to catch this ball. It was right in between his hands. And then again, it goes right to Cook, poor Brian Cook. And it looks like Coleman kind of tipped it up in the air once, and it literally bounces right at Najee Johnson's feet. And somehow the Chiefs weren't able to intercept this one either. Cook can't believe it. But here you can see Allen, when he dropped back, he's looking left. It might actually be to Kincaid that he's looking. And he's not open, and by the time he's able to start progressing through his reads, he's got Dana coming down on him. He manages to evade that, but Chris Jones just gets enough of him to kind of spin him around. And then Allen tosses this one off, which really should have been intercepted. Either by Najee Johnson or by Brian Cook, but neither of them could get a hold of it. Another incomplete pass. Chiefs aren't able to get the turnover. We now go to 5:12 to go in the first quarter. The Bills are down 7-0, and they have a 2nd and 5 at about the Chiefs' 36-yard line. We'll take a look at this play, and then we'll break down what we can of it, because not a ton happens in this play. We've got Allen in the gun. He's got 3 to his left, 1 to her right, and then Shakir motions over right, and Allen drops the snap. Somehow he's able to dive on it before, even though the snap bounces forward. The ball bounces forward, but the Chiefs linemen aren't able to converge on it before Allen can. And we have our 3rd near turnover of the game that harmlessly just results in a loss of about 4 yards. So it's tough to get too much from this play because not much happens before the ball is snapped. The Chiefs do kind of rotate their coverage, interestingly. They've got 2 deep here, and if you notice, they bring Justin Reed down, rotate Cook, and drop Shamari Connor as a deep safety. So they're giving you a cover 2 look from a different alignment. It looks like it's otherwise just a cover 2 zone. Allen is looking to his left when he drops the ball, so I wonder if there's something about if he wants to hit Cook in the flat quickly. I don't know. He was in a real hurry to get his eyes to the left. It looks like they have some kind of levels concept going here where he's going to get Kincaid deeper, and then you see Cooper kind of sit. I think that's probably because McDuffie's to the outside. I think the idea would have been to have a flat, deep, and then out, but you're not going to go out when McDuffie's playing that outside leverage, so Cooper just smartly sits. But I don't know what about this play. I mean, maybe Allen just lost focus because it doesn't look necessarily like a quick throw. But anyway, another situation where it's like, how have they not turned the ball over yet? And we're just in the first quarter. You can see Allen's eyes are going to the left as he drops this one. It does, sometimes an offensive line will accidentally kick that or something will happen, but Allen is able to get on it. Again, another play that could have been a turnover. No dice. Now jump ahead to 1:03 to go in the first quarter. The Chiefs have the ball up 7-3, and they've got a 2nd and about 2 at the Bills' 23-yard line. Let's take a look at this play, and then we'll break it down. Mahomes is in the shotgun. They motion Juju Smith-Schuster over to the right side. He tries to hand off and fumbles the ball. Ultimately, it's recovered by Ed Oliver. And again, not a ton to break down from this play because it ended so quickly. But it looks like the Chiefs had kind of an RPO action going here. Mahomes had the chance to hand this off, and additionally he had Noah Gray coming out to the flat. And it looks like Juju and Justin Watson might have been more like lead blockers for him. It's tough to say because neither of them seems to be that interested in turning around for the ball, especially Justin Watson, who really seems to be like lining up Kaiir Elam. So unclear on what exactly they were trying to do there, and what exactly happened at the mesh point is tough to say too. One would say that this is really one that you would think you would hand off. The end is not really like crashing down here, unless he just really didn't like the numbers. But it's not like the numbers were great here for the RPO either, if this really was just kind of a flat toss to Noah Gray. I mean, he has a defender. I guess he would have tried to come outside. But it doesn't look like, for example, Juju is doing much else rather than trying to get ready to block, and same with Justin Watson. So my best guess is this would have been just like a flat throw to Noah Gray on this side or a run by Mahomes. But it's hard to say what happened here. I think he was... from this view, it's going to be really hard to speculate. I remember in real time thinking he was trying to pull the ball and it might have got like clipped on Pacheco's glove, but it's hard to say. It does, though, seem like this might be a situation. Maybe the kind of force defender coming down at the end also changed the calculation here. But if you're just reading the backside edge, this is one where you can hand off, right? But yeah, it's hard to be able to tell what Mahomes was doing, what he wanted to do. It's clear that it just didn't work. We can see it here from the end zone view. And to make matters worse, Mahomes actually gets to this ball first, but Ed Oliver kind of wins the fight for the ball right there. But most frustrating while watching this game was, we've already seen 3 mistakes from the Bills that didn't result in anything. The Chiefs made 1 mistake. Really, through this whole game, they kind of put the ball in harm's way 1 time, and it resulted in the game's only turnover. That's just the way the ball was falling during this game, and it's quite frustrating as a Chiefs fan. Now, this is a drive following the Mahomes fumble. There's 12:01 to go in the second quarter. The Bills are down 7-3. and they have a 1st and 10 at the Chiefs' 27-yard line. So let's take a look at this play, and then we can break it down. We've got Allen in the gun. He's got 3 to his left, 2 right in the empty. Hits the back of his drop, doesn't see anything he likes, and Mike Dana grabs him and strips the ball, but Allen is able to pick it up one-handed with his left hand to retain possession. So the Bills come out here, and they've got 2 tight ends on the field, and it looks like they've got 1 running back. 41 is their fullback. So is this looks like an interesting 12 personnel. So it looks like 1 running back, 2 tight ends gets you 12, and it looks like we've got 2 wide receivers. See who that is over there on the other side. I don't even know. Oh, we're not going to see on the end zone copy. Is that Shakir? That might be Shakir all the way over there. He's someone who looks small. Anyway, so what they're doing on this play, they kind of run everybody out, and they kind of run what looks like a mesh, except they've got like a deeper concept here, and then Kincaid also goes up the field. And so here on their mesh concept, they're kind of getting Samuel to go low and then hooking here, but the Chiefs do a good job passing this off. So no one really comes open immediately. As Allen hits the back of his drop, he doesn't really have anybody. And he looks to be looking in the middle of the field. Again, he might be trying to work on Bolton, but Bolton did a good job. He was pretty sticky in coverage in this game. Dana, on the other hand, does a great job against Spencer Brown, getting the edge. And then as Brown tries to work him toward the back of the pocket and Allen steps up, he does a good job cornering enough to get over to Allen and to get the ball. And again, the Bills now have put the ball on the ground twice, and Allen somehow, with that left hand, is able to scoop it up as he's going down, so the Chiefs can't recover it. Really an athletic play from Josh Allen. Here he is. He's looking over the middle of the field. Nobody comes open. Dana gets the strip, and then look at Allen with his left hand just able to corral it. At this point, Allen has thrown 2 balls to Chiefs defenders. He's put the ball on the ground twice, and the Bills still have no turnovers. Mahomes put the ball down once, and the Chiefs turned it over once. It was getting to be one of those games at this point where you were like, man, if the ball doesn't start bouncing the Chiefs' way, it's going to be hard to win this one. We now jump ahead to 2:56 to go in the third quarter. The Bills have just scored a touchdown to go up 22-21, and they're trying to go for 2 to get it to a 3-point game. So let's take a look at the play, and then we'll break it down. We've got Josh Allen in empty with a bunch to his left and 2 to his right. The motion in the running back, and he drops back, hits the back of his drop, and then gets pressured. He ultimately gets sacked, loses the ball, and the Bills recover. So the Chiefs did a good job kind of sorting through all of this. What the Bills ended up doing was they sent Samuel on this kind of across toward the back of the end zone. Shakir then came and did the shallow, and Mack Hollins came through and just tried to sit in this gap of the zone. On this side, Kincaid came up and curled, and let's see where exactly Ty Johnson was from inside, that's why. So Kincaid came up and curled, and Ty Johnson tried to come outside. And the Chiefs did a really good job of passing, sorting through, especially this bunch. They kind of kept 4 over 3 over here, and they kind of manned up on this side. And Bolton was like the main guy just hanging out in center field. So on this, it's kind of a split field coverage here where they try to box it 4 over 3. And on this side, it looks like it's pretty much just straight man coverage. And really, like, Hollins kind of sits in this hole, but nicely as Samuel comes across, Bolton does a good job dropping back and getting him here. Unlike what happened on the 4th down touchdown that Samuel caught. That's Coleman coming across. That's a 0, not a 1. But as Coleman comes across, Bolton does a good job picking him up. Allen doesn't really have options, and as he hits the back of his drop, Chris Jones utterly destroys the left guard, so he has to come up off of his spot, and then Karlaftis is able to disengage at that point, so he's face-to-face with Karlaftis with Jones in pursuit, and Jones manages to get him right as he's throwing the ball. He fumbles, and the Bills recover that one too. Now this fumble doesn't really count on the stat sheet. It's a 2-point conversion play, so it's not really, wouldn't have been a true turnover, but it definitely looks like an empty hand going forward. But another situation, not one that is nearly as high leverage as the others we brought up, but Bills put the ball on the ground again and somehow come up with it. Now we jump ahead again to 56 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. At this point, Buffalo has the ball up 22-21, and they're driving. They have a 2nd and 1 at about their 47-yard line or so. Let's take a look at this play, and then we'll break it down. The Bills are in shotgun. Then Allen actually comes up and gets under center. He's got trips to his left. Hands it off to Davis, who fumbles the ball, and somehow it bounces right back into him, and he recovers his own fumble. So here we are. The Bills are under center. They've got 2 wide receivers and a tight end here over on the left. They're actually in 11 personnel, just 1 running back, 1 tight end. Benefit there is they've kept the Chiefs in their nickel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive backs, and just the 2 linebackers on the field. So advantageous group to run against if you trust your guys in 11 personnel. It's just a handoff over the left. Shakir actually gets blown off the ball here. And then Shamari Connor comes in to fill. And as he comes in to fill, he manages to rake over Davis's arm. Look at that ball right on the ground. Bounces, and Davis is able to just fall on it before Tranquil can get to it. The ball didn't seem to be taking any weird bounces for whatever reason. Not in this one. So here it's Justin Reed that ultimately comes down and lines up over Shakir, who ends up blowing up this run play. Comes in and just drives Shakir inside. Hollins has to kick out to get Watson, and so Connor is completely unimpeded coming up to the ball carrier, and he's able to get his right arm right on the ball, just pop it right out there, and he's able to fall right on it. Unfortunately, didn't squirt out, didn't take a weird bounce, nothing. So at this point, this is 4 fumbles from the Bills, and somehow the Chiefs just haven't been able to get on a single one. At this point in the game, the Bills were driving, they were leading. It was near the end of the 3rd quarter. It was starting to look like every bounce was going their way, and a little bit of doubt was creeping up in, I know, my mind, just that, if they're going to get every break like this, if they're somehow globally appearing to play a clean game, even though they've been extremely sloppy, they just haven't turned it over. I don't know. If every bounce keeps going this way, I'm not sure if the Chiefs could pull it off. It was a nerve-wracking time. So in our last play in this segment, we are a couple plays later from the previous one. We're now at a 4th and 1, and the Bills have the ball. It's just started the 4th quarter. The Bills are up 22-21, trying to convert. And we'll run this. They get ready for a quarterback sneak. Now, notably, and you'll see in another segment of the film review, we'll talk about the quarterback sneak and their strategy. The Bills had been going over the left guard, really trying to hit that B gap between the guard and the tackle a lot. on their quarterback sneaks, and the Chiefs seemed ready for it. At this point, the Chiefs had already stopped a couple and at least made life tough sledding on every time they were trying to sneak it. So in this situation, Allen changed things up and decided to go over the top rather than go through the B gap. And when he went over the top, he ended up fumbling the ball. And somehow in that scrum, it seems like he was able to recover it. So that was the fifth Bills fumble of this game. The fourth one that really counted because, as we showed you, one of them was on a 2-point attempt. But interestingly, when this ball came out, it's hard to see. We're not going to get any elucidation from this all 22 about what happened. But the Chiefs players seemed pretty confident they had it initially. I wonder why. You'll see a bunch of Chiefs players at the end of this pointing. They really felt good about this. I don't know why. But true to form in this game, the Bills managed to recover it again. And, after seeing all these plays, I wonder if you are thinking like I was during the game and even now, how did the Bills manage to not turn the ball over in this game? They got a nice clean 0 on the stat sheet, but fortunately a couple plays did end up going the Chiefs' way. The big sneak stop a little bit later in this drive that helped turn momentum around for the Chiefs. But oh man, a lot of things, even in the midst of sloppiness, a lot of things worked out for the Bills in this game. Whatever reason, the crucial mistake didn't happen, even when they had multiple times where they were giving the Chiefs opportunities. But Chiefs still managed to pull this one out. Patrick Mahomes was fantastic in the AFC Championship game. I know, surprise, surprise. He was great with his arm. He was on time in the passing game. He was great with his legs in this game. And he was aided by some great play calling from Andy Reid. So let's take a look at some of Patrick Mahomes' best plays from the AFC title game, and we'll break them down. Let's start with this play from the first quarter. There's 10:57 to go in the quarter. The Chiefs have a 2nd and 7 at their own 47-yard line, and they are currently in a scoreless game. The Bills got the ball first. They had to punt. The Chiefs got the ball at their own 10-yard line or so, and are driving. So let's take a look at the second down play, and then we'll break it down. We've got Mahomes in the shotgun. He's got Kelce and Juju to his left. Kelce motions out. He takes a snap, fakes a handoff, and throws a pass over the middle of Juju Smith-Schuster, who's able to get it down around the 22 or 21-yard line. Ends up being officially a gain of 31. So let's break down what happened on this play. The Chiefs are at 11 personnel. They have one running back and one tight end. That's Pacheco and Kelce, so that gets you the 11 personnel. The wide receivers are Juju Smith-Schuster on the left, Xavier Worthy here tight right, and Hollywood Brown wide to the right. So the Chiefs are running an RPO, which is a run-pass option play. They actually did this twice earlier in the game on their first 2 pass plays, both to Hollywood Brown. And this is a concept they're running again here. So the basic tenet of what they're going to do is, if you watch, first Kelce motions out wide. So let's follow him out wide. And then they give Kelce a running start. The main goal here is to widen the defense over here. You're ideally trying to create a pocket in which Mahomes can throw the ball for the pass option here to Juju. So Kelce moving out wide at the snap widens the corner. And then Mahomes kind of has 3 different things that he can do with this ball. He can hand it off right here to Kareem Hunt, right here at the mesh point. If he pulls it, then he's got the option to throw. And his pass concept is, you're looking at Worthy coming across, Juju coming in, and Kelce coming out and sitting. So they're kind of 3 quick pass options. And the timing is really important, because your offensive line on this play is blocking for a run. They don't know if Mahomes is going to run or pass, so they block for the run. And you have to make sure that your linemen don't get far downfield if you're going to pass. So the timing of the pass becomes really important if you're going to throw it. You have to get it off quickly. If you notice here, Mahomes releases it, and Mike Caliendo is very close to, if you look where the ref is standing, Mike Caliendo is right there at like 1 yard. So if Mahomes had held this ball even like a half second longer, Caliendo becomes an ineligible man downfield. However, the Chiefs were on time with this play, able to get the throw off just before that would be a penalty. So the first thing is the end on this side is left unblocked. So Mahomes will start reading him in order to determine what he wants to do. If this end is going to come in and disrupt the pass to the play to Worthy, that's going to make the throw to Worthy impossible. Additionally, if the end comes and crashes down, that's a deterrent to throwing this ball to Kareem Hunt. Mahomes must like the numbers that he sees, because even though the end doesn't crash down on Hunt, he still doesn't hand this ball off. So, the numbers to throw, he must have liked. He must have liked what he saw in this picture, because the end is real deterrent to prevent the run is to crash down, but he doesn't. If you notice, he kind of comes down, but he is disrupting the throw to Worthy. So the end comes down. Mahomes decides not to hand off, and so he's got to get a quick throw. And then with the end in Worthy's path, it's really going to be Kelsey or Juju. And this is where the run action was so important to this play, because the run action froze the defense enough here. If you watch the defenders kind of peeking into the backfield, and then that got sustained by the action to Worthy. Look at Milano seems to have eyes on Worthy. This defender has eyes on Worthy too. The threat of Worthy getting outside and out leveraging the defense and getting a catch is also dangerous. So these second level defenders I should include here. All these second level defenders are first looking at the run action, and then they're worried about Worthy coming across because of how much of a threat he is. Because their eyes are in the backfield, Juju is able to slip past. And again, Mahomes doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to wait for Juju to come here because his linemen are run blocking. So he gets that throw off quickly. Look at the anticipation on this throw. Mahomes is throwing it and deciding to throw right now. Juju is still crossing the face of the defender, but he sees that he's flat-footed. He's worried about Worthy. So the timing is perfect. He gets it right back there, right in the gap. Look how close that is to Milano. They held everyone just enough with the run action and with Worthy's action to allow for the room to make this throw. And then Juju does the work after the catch. He does a great job making Damar Hamlin miss in space and getting extra yardage after the catch. Great play from the Chiefs. You can see it here from the end zone copy. So here's the fake handoff. And Pacheco look at the linebackers. And Taron Johnson too. Everybody's looking here at the run action. Then as Mahomes looks up, you can see Milano working with Worthy. That's the next action they have to worry about. The layers to this play were so important. And then look at the throw. Milano stepping wide to Worthy created a window in here for Mahomes to throw this ball behind him. See, he got it right in behind Milano to Juju right on time for a big gain. Precision passing game from the Chiefs. All these elements working together. Kelsey widening the defense. The run action, and then Worthy's action, drawing defenders up, and Juju slipping right in behind. Big play for the Chiefs. Big first down, getting close to the red zone early in the game on their first drive. Now we jump ahead to 8:29 to go in the second quarter. At this point, the Chiefs are down 10-7, and they have a 4th and 1 at their own 39-yard line. After going up 7-0, they gave up a field goal. Then they were driving, and Mahomes lost a fumble. And the Bills came down and scored to make it 10-7. And very quickly in their next drive, the Chiefs found themselves in a 4th and 1 situation. Big turning point in the game. And so let's watch what happened. The Chiefs get up to the line quickly. Mahomes fakes a handoff to Kareem Hunt, rolls out to his right, and easily picks up the first down with his legs. So let's take a look at what happened on this play. So the Chiefs really tried to not give the Bills a lot of time to sort through what was going on. They got out of the huddle quick, and let's see their personnel. So they're in actually 21 personnel. They've got 2 running backs. Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco are both on the field. Their 1 tight end is Travis Kelce. That gets you 21. They have 2 receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster and Justin Watson. An interesting thing to note here is the Chiefs are playing with an unbalanced line. If you notice, Creed Humphrey is here. They only have 1 lineman to his left. That's the left guard, Mike Caliendo. The left tackle for this game, Joe Thuney, has been moved over to the right side. So to the right of Creed, there are 3 linemen. The right guard, Trey Smith, the right tackle, Jawan Taylor, and the left tackle, Joe Thuney, who's come all the way over. So if you remember, you just have to have all 5 linemen on the line of scrimmage. There's no rule that says you have to have them equally spaced on either side of the center. And so to make sure it's a legal formation, your 5 ineligible guys have to be on the line of scrimmage, and the end guys have to be covered up. So Travis Kelce covers up Caliendo, and Justin Watson's on the line of scrimmage, so he's covering up Joe Thuney. So it's a legal formation. Juju Smith-Schuster is off the line of scrimmage because if he were on the line of scrimmage, this would be a problem. He would be covering up Joe Thuney, but then he'd be covered up by Justin Watson, and you cannot cover up an eligible receiver. So the Chiefs are in a legal formation here, albeit a creative one. And they run a play that they have run time and time again under Andy Reid. This time they're getting it with Kareem Hunt from the fullback look, and they're running an action that looks like a run to the left. So the line and Kelce and Juju are all going to block as if there is a run action to the left. So with that run action to the left, they fake the handoff to Kareem Hunt. Mahomes is going to spin out. And while that action is happening, Pacheco runs out to the flat. Juju blocks down initially, and then he spins out to provide another option. Kelce initially blocks in this action, and he provides a late option. And Justin Watson clears out and provides a deeper option down the field. So let's watch this happen in concert. So a couple things are very important about making this play happen. First of all, with the run action, you're going to get everyone kind of flowing to the line of scrimmage, but they want to create space for Mahomes over here. And so a couple factors play into creating that space. First being the run fake, then Pacheco getting out wide, because Pacheco's width brings Taron Johnson out there. And then the third thing is our real unsung hero of this game is Juju Smith-Schuster. Watch him slow up both of these players with just quick little blocks before getting out in his pass pattern. 1, 2 right there, and then he spins out into his pass pattern. So what that does is Johnson's being pulled out this way. Juju has kept these guys at this way, and that creates a window that if Mahomes wants to take, he can take it. Now he's got that gap. If Johnson were to fall off, he's got an easy pass to Pacheco. Juju actually will come open here too, but there's some miscommunication between him and Kelce because they kind of run to the same area. Kelce's coming across. He would have come open, but Juju's also here. Either one of them would have been a good target, but I wonder what this play actually called for, because it certainly didn't call for this. I don't know if Kelce was supposed to take this a little farther down. We know he ad-libs. Or if Juju was supposed to stop here and then Kelce was supposed to come across behind. I don't know. But I'm certain this was not supposed to happen. In any case, Juju has already done good work in walling these guys off enough. That lane was created for Mahomes, and he's not messing around here. It's the playoffs. He's just going. Theoretically, he could have thrown this, but it's the playoffs. He sees green grass. He knows he can get it with his legs. He's not messing around and leaving anything to chance, and he gets a big first down. In hindsight, it doesn't seem that way, but in the moment, this was a pretty important situation. The Bills had scored 10 unanswered after the Chiefs' opening drive, and the Chiefs tried in short yardage to get this first down and couldn't. And suddenly, if they got stopped here, this could really change the complexion of the game. Again, Joe Thuney is out here, so we've got 3 linemen, the center, and then just the left guard over here. So watch this run action to Hunt. Look at the line blocking. This is showing run to the Bills. Their keys are all telling them there's a run in this direction. Mahomes spins out quickly, and then look at the work Juju does here. 1, and then watch him get 2. Really preventing 2 guys from being involved in this play. And that's what creates this window for Mahomes to run through. If you can see, like, Juju is clearly an option to pass here. He's open, but Mahomes isn't even thinking about it. He's like, hey, I got to get a yard. It's the playoffs. I'm going to go get it. And he does. Keeps a drive going. Big play for the Chiefs. So we jump ahead to 4:18 to go in the second quarter. Later in the same drive, Chiefs are still down 10-7, and the Chiefs have a 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 11-yard line. So we'll take a look at the play here, and then we'll break it down. We've got Mahomes. He's got trips to his left. They send Hollywood Brown out wide. He's got Kelce and Pacheco to his right. He drops back, hits the back of his drop, and throws an out route to Worthy, who gets to the edge and scores a touchdown. All right, so what happened on this play? So if you notice, the Chiefs come out in 11 personnel, but the running back, Isaiah Pacheco, and the tight end, Travis Kelce, are both over here on the right side. On the left side, they have their 3 wide receivers. They have Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Hollywood Brown. And another Juju moment here, you can tell he's helping Hollywood Brown with his alignment. Brown wants to line up here and the trips, and Juju's like, no, you need to be out wide. He points him out there. And if you notice, why do they have Pacheco lined up wide here? Well, look at what happens. They put him out there at the snap. And you see the middle linebacker, Milano, looking for what he's doing. And the safety over here points to Pacheco. Hey, your guy's out there. It's a pretty good man tell for the Chiefs, right? When they get Pacheco out wide and a linebacker runs all the way out there to be with him, they're probably in man coverage. So you've got manned up, these 2 guys manned up, man-to-man here, single high safety, and then you've got your underneath robber. So this is cover 1 man. So what the Chiefs do in their route combination, they get Brown and Pacheco are just going to clear out, take their guys back into the end zone. Kelce kind of runs a little bit of a whip route, and then he starts to ad lib. But the main action is right here. You're going to get Juju Smith-Schuster to come up, and he's trying to take his defender straight up. And he doesn't go exactly straight. He widens just a little bit, but he's getting up the field here. Worthy is careful to stay just inside of Juju and trailing behind him. So he's going to follow with Juju, and then as Juju's man crosses where Worthy's man is, right at that moment when Juju's defender is right in between Worthy's man and Worthy breaks hard to the outside, so it creates a natural pick play. So watch the 2 of them and how they move in concert. See how Juju widens a little bit? Worthy's following. He's like trailing him just a little bit. And the timing here is so important because you see Worthy's guy dropping, Juju's guy's trying to press him a little bit more. And right at this moment, see where Damar Hamlin, who's Worthy's guy, can't just run straight through, right? They're right at the point where they're starting to get in his way is when Worthy makes that cut. This timing is so important. And there's nobody better on this team than Juju Smith-Schuster at timing these things out and getting his defender right in the way to create a natural pick right there. And once Worthy he's already out-leveraged you to the outside, like you're done. He's possibly the fastest guy in the NFL. So there's no hope there. Beautiful play design and execution. Juju is as good as it gets at this. And the timing here is so key. Start your break right as Juju's going to run past so that the defender just has to slow up for half a second, and that's all you need. Perfectly executed. Now, those of you that have been watching this film review all year might remember a very similar action way earlier in the year. involving Juju Smith-Schuster and Rashee Rice. So let's revisit that real quick. So this is way back from week 3. Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs were playing in Atlanta. And this is the second quarter of that game. The Chiefs had a 3rd and 3 in the red zone. At this point, they were down 7-0. So let's just take a look over here. We've got Juju Smith-Schuster and Rashee Rice. And let's look at the action that they've got here. So first things first, Rice moves into the slot behind Smith-Schuster right at the snap. And the real goal of this is to bring along Rice's defender so he'll be inside of Juju when this ball is snapped. Now, it should look familiar. Rice kind of trailing Juju. And again, Juju coming up. And this time, Juju isn't able to drag his defender into, because his defender is not pressing him here. Juju's defender is way back deeper. So what they end up doing is, again, that timing being so important, right as this defender hops inside of Juju to follow Rice, Rice waits right for the moment where Juju's in the way, and then he makes his cut right now. And Juju does a good job of just continuing to run his route. He actually kind of gets a hand on the defender right there. That's really subtle. That's nice work from Juju. And he breaks out to the left. Again, out leverages the defender and goes in for a touchdown. So again, the timing is perfect in the play design. Just run off of Juju's hip, and then right when your defender has traffic in between him and the sideline, that's when Rice makes the cut. Perfect timing. Mahomes gets it out to him. Touchdown. So the Chiefs brought this concept back for Xavier Worthy here against the Bills. And again, different situation. Juju was being pressed in this situation against the Bills, but he got his defender in the way. This time Juju got in the way, but he's a master at doing the little things that help the Chiefs win. And he did it back in Atlanta. And he did it in the AFC title game too. All right, so as you can see, Juju's been doing this a long time, and he's pretty good at it. Let's take a look at the end zone copy here from Mahomes' perspective. And if you notice, Mahomes telling Brown to go left as well, right? So Mahomes and Juju both on the same page. I wonder if we can see it from over. Oh, you can see it right here. So as Juju's telling Brown, hey, get out wide, so is Mahomes. Like, hey, go out there. So we can see that from the end zone copy as well. And if you look, Mahomes takes the snap. He knows what he's looking for. He's looking for that timing on the outbreak. And let's say that for some reason that pick hadn't worked. Kelsey actually looks like he would have. He's on Douglas here. He tries to pull the whip route and come back, and then he shimmies one more. You feel like Kelsey would have gotten open had he continued, which is what he looks like he was going to do, but no need. The pick concept worked perfectly on the left side. Easy touchdown to Worthy, and the Chiefs retake the lead at 14-10. So we now move to 3:13 to go in the second quarter. The Chiefs have maintained their 14-10 lead and now have a 3rd and 5 at about the Bills' 29-yard line. So you'll remember after the Chiefs got a stop against the Bills, they had a huge punt return from Nikko Remigio. So they're in danger of going 3 and out off of that punt return and not being able to get in the end zone. So let's take a look at this 3rd down play, and then we'll break it down. We've got Mahomes with an empty backfield. He's got 3 to the left, 2 to his right. He drops back, feels pressure, steps through, and heaves one to his right. And Xavier Worthy goes up and gets it, almost simultaneously with the Bills' safety. This ends up being a catch for Worthy, and it's confirmed after review. So let's break down what happened on this play here. So Mahomes, again, they're getting the running back out wide to help expose the man coverage. So we've got one running back here, Samaje Perine, one tight end, Travis Kelce, and our 3 wide receivers are Juju Smith-Schuster, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy here on the outside. So if you see from empty, the Bills are manned up across the board. 3, 4, 5. And so then the question is whether their underneath guy is going to blitz or whether they're going to have a robber in the middle of the field in addition to the deep safety. So Kelsey is going to run a route here over the middle, and Juju is going to run a slightly deeper slant here. P. Ryan is going to actually run an in-cut as well, a slant. Hollywood and Worthy switch. So Hollywood will run an out. Worthy runs a slant here against man. Well, what ends up happening here on this play is Mahomes will drop back, and he's looking for Kelsey. He wants Kelsey here on this key third down, but Kelsey's being held by Damar Hamlin. They actually threw a flag on him for this play. So regardless of what happened on this play, the Chiefs were going to get a first down. After Mahomes, he kind of waits to see if Kelsey's going to get open. He doesn't, and at that point, Mahomes feels the pressure. His eyes kind of move. He looks over toward Worthy, and then he's got to try to escape. It's unfortunate that his progression went that way, because had he not been fixated on Kelsey, he might have noticed that Juju Smith-Schuster absolutely roasted Kaiir Elam off the line here. Watch this. Juju with one step outside, and Elam tries to get him with the inside hand. And watch what happens. Juju chops that hand down right as he crosses his face, and Elam goes flying. So Juju Smith-Schuster wide open after he makes that move on Elam. And it would have been a great option for Mahomes here, but at this point, Mahomes has locked on Kelsey, and once he comes off, he's seeing too much pressure to keep his eyes up. Juju actually continues across the field completely unencumbered, but I guess since he's coming behind Kelsey, Mahomes didn't really get a chance to see him, and by this time, his eyes have moved right. So he kind of is able to step through the right. The defensive end grabs him, and he's able to step through, and really, this is some phenomenal body control and arm strength. At this point, as he's stepping through, Worthy and Hollywood Brown, both now having been seasoned for a year in the Chiefs system, are like, this is scramble drill time. So they both turn and run up the field. Mahomes sees that, and look at this body control to get this throw off still. I mean, he's not able to step into it. He got a guy hanging off his right leg, another defender in his face, and he's still able to launch this ball. He's standing at the 36-yard line. He's able to get it in the air down to the 5. So this ball goes 31 yards in the air, and it's a great throw right where Worthy can go up and get it. And Worthy does a phenomenal job of coming down with this ball. He basically, we'll see it better on the end zone copy, but he gets his right arm on it as the safety is coming in, and he's wrapped it with his right arm and pinned it on the safety's arm. They really have simultaneous possession. As the ball goes down, they kind of both retain possession of this ball, and as you know, tie goes to the offense. It really does seem like if you're going to pick like who has quote-unquote more of this ball, you would say it was Worthy anyway. But just a phenomenal play from Xavier Worthy to go up and get this ball. So we see Mahomes from his perspective. You can see he's looking for Kelsey. Kelsey's the innermost eligible receiver on the left side here. He's watching Kelsey go through. He's waiting for him to get open. Now he sees pressure across his face. You see his eyes move. He's trying to get through, and he's looking right. And it's unfortunate because, like we said, look at Juju just completely running free here, having disposed of Kaiir Elam. He's running wide open, but unfortunately, Mahomes, from this position, it would be hard to make that throw across your body. Weirdly enough, the throw this way down the field is easier than the shorter throw across your body when you've got that guy hanging over you. So Mahomes makes this, and look, he's not able to step into this. He's going down. He gets this up in the air, and a really impressive throw, but equally impressive is Worthy. Look at him go up with his right hand. If there's one thing you could be critical of Worthy for, and it's hypercritical, I think it's really nitpicky, is that he goes up falling back, which makes it easier for the defender to get involved. If Worthy stops here and goes straight up, and his momentum's carrying him in that direction, so it might be impossible for him to avoid falling back. But if he were able to plant and go straight up, it would be easier for him to box out the defender and not make this such a contested catch. But look at how he gets his right arm in there, his right hand right in there, and he pulls the defender and the ball. You can see the ball right here. I mean, they both have this ball, and the tie goes to the runner. Or tie goes to the runner from baseball, but ties goes to the offense in football. And the reason why they don't say that this ball hitting the ground would be an incomplete pass is because they together have possession of the ball. The ball doesn't move when it hits the ground. So they together have possession of this ball. And as you can see, as they roll over on their backs, like, Worthy's got more of this ball. And tie goes to the offense. Worthy makes a great play, but it really came on, I don't know how Mahomes got the ball out there in the first place. Really phenomenal plays from both players. And prognostically really great for Xavier Worthy, because we were worried about his ability to catch balls in traffic, make contested catches, especially early this year. It kind of looked like maybe he wouldn't be that kind of guy. But against the Texans, he made a tough catch on kind of a wheel route looking play out of the backfield where he had to go up and get one. And this time even more, he really had to go up and get it. Great play from Worthy. Now we jumped to 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Later in the same drive, the Chiefs are up 14-10, trying to extend their lead, and they have a 3rd and goal here, looking right about at like the 2-yard line or so. So let's take a look at this play, and then we'll break it down. We've got Mahomes under center. He's got Gray in motion. He rolls out to his right and takes it himself into the end zone for a touchdown to put the Chiefs up 21-10. So let's take a look at what's going on here. The Chiefs come out here in 13 personnel. The one running back is Kareem Hunt. Their 3 tight ends are Travis Kelce, Peyton Hendershot, and Noah Gray. Their one wide receiver is Xavier Worthy. So this is another similar concept that the Chiefs run. It's not that dissimilar to the concept we talked about on their 4th and 1 play from earlier, where they are going to roll Mahomes out to the right to try to give him options. This time, they don't really have the play action going to the left. The way that they try to draw eyes from the defense to the left is by running Noah Gray in motion, so that they'll anticipate the potential for a run over there to the right. So what's going to happen at the snap, Mahomes rolls out. Worthy is going to run a route out toward the front pylon, and Travis Kelce is going to come across the end zone in the back as Mahomes rolls. Everybody else's job is just to make either sell blocking in this direction, wall off, or what Kareem Hunt does is he comes around and actually walls off the defensive end right here to give Mahomes a little more room. So let's watch this in action. Noah Gray comes over, and look at the linebackers already shifting. See, they're getting defenders shifted in a direction away from where they're actually running this play. Look at the shift, then they get this snap, and the linebackers, even though there's no run action in that direction, the linebackers are still taking steps in this direction because of the initial motion and the line blocking this way. So they get the eyes in that direction, then Mahomes wheels around. Kyer Elam actually has Worthy covered pretty well in this play, which was rare for Elam in this game, but Kelce runs a great route here. If you notice, he's coming out, initially takes the hop out, and then quickly crosses the face of the defender, and Kelce gets open. Mahomes has a lot of time over here because Hunt does a good job walling off Greg Rousseau. So if you notice, they start with, these linebackers are all too far over. They've already shifted enough. So the one guy you're worried about on this side are Rousseau and I guess Taron Johnson as well. And so Rousseau initially is blocked by Peyton Hendershot. Then as Hendershot slides in, Kareem Hunt comes around to wall him off. Taron Johnson is the other guy that you're worried about, and it essentially becomes like a choice situation for him. What Johnson notices, he's a good defender, and he's like, hey, there's Travis Kelce back there. I am not letting this man catch a touchdown. So Johnson decides to bail back toward Kelce. But because of that, there's nobody that can impede Mahomes' progress to the goal line. It was really Johnson or maybe Damar Hamlin coming way back from his deep safety spot, but he's holding position, and by the time he gets over the goal line, it's way too late. Johnson's kind of other option would have been to pressure Mahomes, but in that case, Kelce would have been open for a touchdown right here. So the play was one that Johnson really kind of had to pick his poison. He decided to prevent the touchdown pass to Kelce, and that allows Mahomes to go into the end zone. But right here in this moment, this is where he has to decide. Back here or stop the run. It's a no-win situation for him. Mahomes gets in for the touchdown. Another nice play design. And another touchdown for the Chiefs. You can see it from this perspective. Again, watch the reaction of the Bills to Noah Gray's motion. This is what gets this whole play going. Look at how much shifting is happening. Everybody's shifting over to the offense's left. And then they continue taking steps even as this is going. Look, everything, because look at the line. The line is moving everything left. So they do a great job of giving that eye candy to the Bills. They're all moving away from where the play's going. Look at Kelce cross the face of this defender, and he's going to come open into the middle of the field. So really, if like Mahomes wanted to throw it right now, he could have. But Johnson then decides, I think Mahomes really in this position is pressing Johnson and trying to get him to commit. And this is something Mahomes does possibly better than any other quarterback, using his legs to make defenders wrong. So I'm going to make you make a decision. Okay, you're going back there? Fine, I'm going then. And so once Taron Johnson turns and runs, Mahomes commits to running, gets a touchdown, and the Chiefs go up 21-10. Let's jump ahead to the fourth quarter. The Chiefs have the ball. There's 12:15 to go in the game, and they're down 22-21. They've got a 2nd and 3 at around their own 48-yard line. So the Bills have really controlled the recent run of play. You know, we just saw that the Chiefs had gone up 21-10 late in the second quarter. Between the last drive of the second quarter and then through the third quarter, the Bills have scored 12 unanswered points, and they've taken the lead now 22-21. Chiefs defense just made a big stop, and the Chiefs offense is trying to capitalize and get the lead back in the game. So let's run this play, and then we'll talk about it. Got Mahomes with trips to his right, Juju isolated to the left. He's in the shotgun with Kareem Hunt next to him. Drops back to throw against the blitz and hits Juju Smith-Schuster across the middle. Juju spins out of a tackle and gets the ball down to about the 24 or 23-yard line for a big first down. So let's break down what happened. The Chiefs come out here in 11 personnel. They've got one running back, that's Kareem Hunt, and one tight end, that's Travis Kelce. Gets you your 11 personnel. They motion Xavier Worthy in their trips out to the outside right before the snap, something that they've been liking to do to try to create space over the middle. The Bills are running a cover one blitz. So essentially they've got these 4 down linemen, and then they are blitzing both here. So the Chiefs have 6 to try to protect 6 with Kareem Hunt staying in. That means everybody else is manned up, and there is just the one safety in the back as the extra defender. So what the Chiefs end up running, Xavier Worthy runs an out, Hollywood Brown runs a sit route, and Travis Kelce runs a corner. On this side, they kind of leave the middle open for Juju. He fakes to the outside and ends up running an over route and manages to get open. So you see here comes the blitz, and Mahomes knows it's coming, and he's got his one shot. And I think what's most informative about this play, and it's something that we will see on the end zone copy in just a second, Mahomes is looking left and then comes over to the middle and immediately fires this ball. So it really looks like he's looking off the safety, and there might be something he's looking to see if Travis can get open quickly or something, but it's like he's really putting a lot of faith in Juju here. He steps back and he's like, once he snaps his head back, he's firing it. It's almost like this play was designed to look off the safety until the last minute and trust that Juju would make it to where you needed to be and he would be open when you look back. Because if you look at him looking this way. He's looking this way the whole time. And at the last minute, snaps his head back, fires. And look what Juju has rewarded him with. Look at that separation that he got. This is such a great performance from Juju. We showed him making key blocks on the 4th and 1 run. We showed him making the key rub action on Xavier Worthy's touchdown. He had the big RPO catch in the first quarter. And then this is fourth quarter, gotta have it, driving to take the lead here after not having scored points since the end of the second quarter. So the Chiefs went well over a quarter without scoring any points. And Juju is the guy they trust. All right, you're ISO'd, you're one-on-one, man coverage against a blitz. Go get open over the middle. We're going to leave the middle of the field for you. Nobody else is going to the middle. Kelsey's running a corner. You're sitting. You're going out. So you have the middle of the field. Go to work. And Juju, of all people, was trusted with that, and he proved worthy. Not that I don't mean to sound surprised. I think it's more just about this stage of his career. If this were called 2 years ago, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. But after last year in New England and him being kind of more sparingly used this year, I was not expecting Juju to be put in this kind of role, and he was, and he showed that he deserved it. He wins inside, gets open, and then again, just like on his other RPO catch, does a great job after the catch, and he ends up getting an extra 16, 17 yards because of this broken tackle. Great play from Juju. And you wonder if maybe the one thing would have been if they could get Worthy on the speed out. Maybe Mahomes was looking for that, but Worthy wasn't able to get leverage. And then he just came back and boom, look at that. A great play from Juju, getting open in such a crucial spot and getting the Chiefs well down the field and close to the red zone. So let's watch this here. I do think, think about this more and more. The initial hope was to get Worthy on the speed out. I think that's why they did this late motion with him too. They motion him out, get them to readjust responsibilities from the defense, and then try to run the speed out. And Elam was just close enough there. And it looks like it was slow developing enough too that Mahomes had already kind of looked back toward Juju. So that might have been option one, but the key part to me, the two keys are, one, they left the middle of the field for Juju to work. They didn't run anybody else over there. And two, that Mahomes is looking back and just confidently firing. He was expecting Juju to be there, and he was. There you can see his eyes to the left, and then he comes back to the middle, and boom. Right there to Juju. Big play. Clearly the kind of unsung hero and one of the key contributors to this big win in the AFC title game, Juju Smith-Schuster. Now we jump ahead a couple minutes to 10:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Same drive. Chiefs down 22-21, and they've got first and goal at the Bills' 10-yard line. Let's take a look at this play, and then we'll break it down. Hopped ahead too far. Here we go. So we've got Mahomes in the backfield in shotgun with a diamond formation. He's got the tight ends on either side and Hunt behind him. Fakes a handoff to Hunt, runs it to the right side, and takes it all the way in for the touchdown to give the Chiefs the lead. So let's break this down. Now, if you'll notice, this initial setup and then the rotation should look exactly to you like the Kareem Hunt touchdown run in the first quarter of this game. Now, if you are watching this clip as part of the entire film review, That Kareem Hunt touchdown run will be broken down in the next segment after we finish these Mahomes plays. If you're watching this standalone clip of Mahomes' best plays from the AFC title game, look for the AFC Championship Game film breakdown, where we've broken down many more plays, and the Kareem Hunt touchdown will be the third segment of that film breakdown, this being the second segment. But it's important to watch that because it's actually the exact same play. The Kareem Hunt touchdown and the Patrick Mahomes touchdown run are the exact same play. And they are a read option that comes from a GT counter. That's a guard tackle counter. It's a run play in which you pull the guard and pull the tackle and have the running back make a false step in this direction and then follow the pullers. So they call it GT counter, guard tackle counter, because they're going in the opposite direction from the initial false step from the running back. So both of these plays are that play, and you pull these two, and at the same time you bring the two tight ends out as lead blockers. And so the running back or the quarterback has two options here. The option is, do I hand this off to the running back to go behind the counter action, or do I hold it and run to the right? So on the Kareem Hunt touchdown, obviously, he handed it off and Hunt took it for a touchdown. On this play, Mahomes held it and Mahomes himself took it for a touchdown. How does Mahomes decide? He decides because they don't block this guy, and whatever this guy does dictates what Mahomes is supposed to do. So basically, you're going to have these two come and block here. You're going to have the center come up, and these two will follow in and try to create a hole. One taking the edge, one taking a second level defender and creating an opening for the running back. If the unblocked end, because Taylor is just vacating here, if the unblocked end decides to crash down and follow Juwan Taylor and potentially come to the backside of this run, the quarterback's supposed to keep it and run. However, if this end does not crash down, that's when the quarterback can hand it off into this run action. So in the breakdown of the other play, you'll see that the end does not crash down, but let's watch what the end does on this play. You see him crash down right here. So he's crashed down following this play, and so Mahomes reads him and knows, okay, he's coming. I'm holding this ball. I'm not going to hand this off. And so he holds it, gets outside, and then he's got Gray and Kelsey lead blocking for him. And he takes it all the way. Kelsey does a good job of accelerating here. I think early on, Kelsey's trying to figure, he doesn't know if Mahomes is behind him or not, right? Mahomes could have handed this ball off. And at this point, I think he realizes he is, and watch him accelerate to his defender, get there in time, and provide that lead block. Noah Gray had hung on DeMar Hamlin initially. Hamlin did manage to shake free right at the end, but too little, too late. Mahomes breaks his tackle, gets in the end zone for the big touchdown. Again, you can see this action. So what's going to happen here is you're going to get a combo block right there. Humphrey is going to wall off here, and these two are pulling. And at the same time, after Noah Gray shifts over here, these two are coming out. So you've got the option for the quarterback to follow his two tight ends as lead blockers, or Kareem Hunt to follow the counter action from the guard and tackle coming right to left from the offense's perspective. And again, the read guy is this guy. Mahomes will read whether he crashes in or not. He comes too far inside, crashing in. That means Mahomes is going to keep this as he's coming for Hunt. So Mahomes keeps it. I don't think the Bills really expect Mahomes to keep it in this situation. He doesn't do a lot of these runs, especially not from the 10-yard line. And then he just follows Kelsey to the promised land. Big touchdown that gave the Chiefs the lead. All right, so now let's check out the two-point conversion play right after. The Chiefs scored that touchdown, and they ended up going up 27-22, right? 27-22, and they decided to go for 2 to try to make it a 7-point game instead of just taking the extra point to go up 6. So let's take a look at what they did, and then we'll break it down. Got Mahomes in the shotgun. He's got 2 to his left, 2 to his right, and then they motion Juju over to the right to get a 3-by-1. He takes the snap against the blitz. He pump fakes once and then throws it to the back of the end zone to Justin Watson for a touchdown. Now, so let's get everything motioned over. So the Chiefs are basically going up here against a cover 0 blitz. The Bills are manned up. They've got 1, 2, 3 guys that are looking at the receivers, and then everybody else is coming. He's blitzing. He is responsible for the running back, but once he sees that Kareem Hunt is staying in to block, he does a delayed blitz. They call it a green dog blitz. If you're the guy that's responsible for the running back and the running back stays in the pass protection, you come in and blitz. The Chiefs run Worthy on an out, and then they run a combo out of the bunch here. So they get Watson coming toward the back of the end zone, Juju coming up in the front of the end zone, and then Kelsey comes out and pops over late. So Mahomes, when he drops back, he's looking for Juju initially. And Watson, the kind of rub combination here would make it such that it looks like Damar Hamlin at the snap is trying to sift through that he's going to take Watson. But if you look at 24 over here, he's looking over at Kelsey. So as Kelsey makes the step over, it looks like 24 might be responsible for Kelsey, but the Bills do a good job sorting through this and passing it off. So 24 then comes charging down at Juju, who is the guy that Mahomes looks like he wants initially. And Mahomes is about to throw it, and then he sees kind of the vigor with which 24 is coming down on this play, and he decides against it. He doesn't want a chance for this to be broken up with how quickly he's moving toward Juju. 24 actually bites on the pump fake so hard he kind of almost attempts to tackle Juju here. I mean, if Mahomes hadn't thrown it right here, and this is clearly would have been at the very least an illegal contact penalty. But he was just over enthusiastic with the pump fake. I think he thought Mahomes was going to throw this ball, so he was going after Juju there. But then after Mahomes pumps, he goes to his next one, so he basically reads this 1-2, which is a little unfortunate because Kelsey ends up just winning straight on his route, so this would have been a pretty easy throw. Mahomes doesn't have a time to survey the field here. He's going against a 0 blitz. So he moves quickly. When Juju is worried about that, he has one more chance before the pocket collapses. And so he decides to go back to Watson. But because he's kind of pumped, he's completely, his base is gone, right? He's not in position. His feet are spread out. He just kind of throws this all arm with no legs in it, just floats it over as 2 defenders are coming in and trying to jump and knock this pass down. He manages to get it around them and float it to the back of the end zone to Justin Watson. This is a phenomenal throw. So let's see it from the end zone view. I mean, this is pretty impressive. Here he comes. He's got the blitz. Kareem Hunt does a good job of picking up Taron Johnson initially. And here's our green dog guy who's coming in once he sees that Hunt is in pass protection. Oliver and the linebacker come free. So you see here why Mahomes pumped to Juju initially. Like, you can see 24, look at him getting downhill to try to challenge this throw. So I think Mahomes is worried that this will not be completed. So he thought about it. He held it. 24 proceeded to go through Juju anyway. And then look at how he is. I mean, he's got no base under him. His feet are parallel to the end zone, like the goal line. That's not good. And he's kind of double clutching and just kind of flips it. And he just gets it over the outstretched hands of the defender trying to block this. And look at that. It's also across his body. This is really impressive throw. Throwing across his body with no feet, standing parallel to the goal line. Look at his perfect throw. Right on the button. 2-point conversion to Watson, and the Chiefs go up 29-22. So now we move ahead. We're at 4:35 to go in the fourth quarter. It's a 29-29 game, and the Chiefs are driving, trying to take the lead. They've got a 2nd and 7 at the Buffalo, about 33-yard line. So let's take a look at the play that they run, and then we'll break it down. We've got Mahomes with trips to his right. He has Worthy motion over to the left, so they're in a 2-by-2 out of the shotgun. He drops back, pumps once, and throws it to Worthy over the middle, who gets all the way down to about the 10-yard line before going out of bounds. So let's take a look at what happened here on this play. So once they've got everything motioned over, the Chiefs have the Bills here in cover 1 man again. So if you see, they've got man across the board. They've got Hunt manned up too. They've got Milano as the underneath defender, and then they've got one deep safety. And so what the Chiefs do, they run a concept that they have run a lot, the mesh concept. So first, the other guys, we've got Hopkins running kind of a deeper whip route. We've got Hunt running out to the flat. We've got Juju coming up and sitting in the middle. And then we've got Kelsey as the kind of picker and Worthy coming across. So this is the mesh concept, essentially great to run versus man coverage, create traffic in the middle, and hope that one guy can kind of set a pick-ish for the other guy without committing offensive pass interference to try to help him get open. So let's take a look at the mesh concept here on this one. Initially, Mahomes thought about going to Hunt because the added benefit of this route concept is they've got, and we'll come back to this a little bit later in this review, so pay attention here. They've got receivers coming across, and then you get a defender out to the flat. Andy Reid loves this concept, and he will use it on a crucial play later in this game. He likes getting traffic going this way and making the defender covering the running back have to loop around so that you can try to get the ball to the running back on the run with a chance to do something with it. So Mahomes looks there first, but the defender for Kareem Hunt actually does a pretty good job getting over there, so he doesn't like that. And then the next action is here. This is all about Kelsey. He does a great job getting in Worthy's defender's way without committing offensive pass interference. Kind of slows up and then slides by, doesn't even make contact with him. And then even better, Worthy's defender runs into Matt Milano too. So he kind of gets picked twice, once by Kelsey, once by Milano, and that creates a huge amount of room for Worthy to just run free. Mahomes hits him in stride, and there he goes. So this is the unsung hero on this play is Travis Kelsey, doing a great job of getting in the way without committing a penalty here. So if you go run straight into his defender, that's going to be offensive pass interference. But if you slide by, not making any contact, then sometimes you get the added benefit of him running into his own guy, slowing him even further, and then you got Worthy off to the races. Andy Reid does well dialing these concepts up against mesh and against man, and in this case, he's got two of his favorites combined here. He's got this action with the running back to try to get him free. When that doesn't work, he's also got the mesh, and that gets Worthy open. Great job dialing things up against man and being prepared. From the end zone view here, you see Mahomes, he looks over to the concept with Hunt first, but he sees that the defender is kind of getting over the top of that quickly. Then he looks back to the mesh. Ed Oliver does a good job getting upfield against Trey Smith, so Mahomes has to step off of his spot. He slides to his left, creates a window to throw that ball to Worthy, and lets Worthy do what Worthy does best, get down the field and get first down. All right, so we are now with 1:50 to go in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs have a 2nd and 9 at the Bills' 46, and they're trying to run out the clock. The Bills have 2 timeouts left, and the Chiefs are up 32-29. So let's see the second down play that they run, and then we'll break it down. Chiefs hurry up to the line, fake a handoff to Kareem Hunt. Mahomes tosses it to Isaiah Pacheco, who gets the first down but is not quite able to stay in bounds, stopping the clock but getting a first down. So breaking this down, as you see, they get to the line quickly to snap it, and they're actually running the exact same play with maybe tiny variations, but essentially the same play that they ran earlier in this game when they had a 4th and 1 conversion. We broke down Mahomes' scramble to convert a first down. This was when they were down 10-7, I believe, in the second quarter. Well, this is the same concept. They're going to fake a handoff to Kareem Hunt going left. Mahomes is going to spin out. Pacheco is going to go to the flat. And let's watch it develop. So there they get Pacheco out to the flat. Watson's doing the same thing he did before. He's coming up and trying to get outside. Juju is doing the same, block inside and then try to spin out. And the same thing with Kelsey. This time he kind of moves up the field instead of coming across it like he did that time. But it's the same concept. The one major difference is that when the Chiefs ran this in the second quarter, I believe it was the second quarter. It was either the first or second quarter. I'm pretty sure it was the second quarter. Taron Johnson right here ran with Pacheco. This time Johnson gets caught up and Juju is able to help block him. So this allowed Pacheco to run free and Mahomes to just dump it off to him. Pacheco to have a head of steam and get upfield. But if you look, it's the exact same thing. Kelsey's blocking and trying to release. Juju's blocking and trying to release. Watson's trying to get up to the outside. The line's blocking to left, and they're faking a run action to Kareem Hunt. They're doing the same thing here. This time they got the flip to Pacheco, and Pacheco here tries, if you see his left foot slips right here, he's trying to cut back into the field so he can go down inbounds. But his left foot slips, and it's hard to tell, honestly, whether, because I can't tell if his knee is down there. Like it was really close to me whether his knee got down in bounds before his foot went out of bounds. It was hard to tell, but they ruled it out of bounds. And so the clock stopped. Why that mattered was that the Chiefs were, this ended up being at about 1:45, and the Bills got to keep their second timeout. If the Bills had to call a timeout there, then the Chiefs would have had a first down with about 1:45 to go, and the Bills with only one timeout. So they could have realistically run the clock down with just run plays to about 20 seconds or so, maybe less, if they had decided they just wanted to play real conservative and try to run out the clock. They could have got it down around 20 seconds. But since Pacheco was not able to stay in bounds, then this ended up not being a question. That would have been kind of tough. If you have a third down with a minute to go, the other team doesn't have a timeout, do you just run the ball to keep the clock running, or do you really try to get that first down and end it? That could have been a little more of a debate. However, now that the Bills kept this timeout and Pacheco went out of bounds, it wasn't really a debate. The Chiefs knew they had to get a first down here. But let's take a look at this play from the end zone view so you can see the full action. Again, it's the same thing. Everything coming left. The offense is left. Fake run to the left. Juju sealing here. Watson is going to come out, and Kelsey's going to fake block and then try to come out. However, Pacheco is wide open, so Mahomes just gets him the flip to him. And see here, it's that slip. If Pacheco's able to turn that corner here, then he's able to get down in bounds. But he wasn't, and it's hard to tell. His knee's coming down right. He probably was out of bounds before his knee came down, but it was so close. In any case, the Chiefs ended up in a situation where they knew they'd have to get one more first down to close it out. So now we're at 1:35 to go in the game, and the Chiefs have 3rd and 9 at the Bills' about 36-yard line. So at this point, this is really for the game. Bills have no more timeouts. If the Chiefs are able to get a first down here, the game will be over. So let's take a look at what they do, and then we'll break it down. We got Mahomes in the gun. He starts with trips to the right, and he motions 2 over to the left. So he actually gets trips over to his left. Takes the drop snap, throws left to Pirine, who turns the corner and is able to get down in bounds, sealing the game for the Chiefs. So what happened on this play? First of all, the motioning of Brown and Watson over to the left was a good man tell, because you see 2 running over there to get over the top. So pretty confident that they're in man. Now, we were talking about the previous, a couple plays ago when the Chiefs were in a mesh concept. And one of the concepts they had, in addition to the mesh, was they had, from this side, they had receivers running this way, and they had Kareem Hunt running out behind. And I said, this is a concept that Andy Reid uses a lot. Well, he uses it here a little more extensively to get this first down. He uses this against man a lot. In fact, those of you that follow these film reviews closely will remember that about 2 months ago, in a film review of the Chiefs-Panthers game, I posted a video. I believe it was called Andy Reid Uses a Familiar Man-Beating Concept Against the Panthers. I'll actually link to that video in the description of this if you're interested in going through. But I went through some plays in the past several years that have used the same concept to show how often Andy Reid likes to use it. But again, what he's doing against man, he's getting all these routes coming over, and then he's going to have Pirine leak through, and Pirine's defender is going to have to navigate all this traffic, which gets Pirine open with enough space that he can run after the catch for the first down. So watch this. Watch all these guys coming right across the formation. Look at this poor linebacker having to try to run with Pirine. He's got to run through all of this mess. So as Pirine escapes here through the B gap, look at his defender trying to navigate all this. And Pirine has this much room when he catches it, and that's enough for him to be able to get around and get the first down on 3rd and 9. It's a tried and true Andy Reid concept, and it was made even easier on this play, the kind of motioning into it at the very end so that it wasn't so apparent. He got into his bunch late. They snapped it immediately. And then they did end up having a mesh concept on the other end of it. So let's say this failed. Kelsey's coming across, and there's the opportunity for him to pick, it looks like Hollywood's guy, or at least somebody coming across if Pirine didn't come open, so that there would be a secondary option here. Just like on that play to Worthy we broke down a couple plays ago, that they had this little action to Hunt, although they only had 2 people leading the way for Hunt. They had that action to Hunt on the right side, and then they had the mesh coming back behind it. Here they have the action to Pirine. Works to perfection. They create a ton of traffic for the defender, who's not able to get there. Pirine makes the catch, turns the corner, and does a good job staying in bounds, icing this one for the Chiefs. Again, if you want more of a breakdown of this concept, just look for the video. It's an STCF film breakdown, and I believe the title is Andy Reid Uses a Familiar Man-Beating Concept Against the Panthers, something like that. But I'll put the link in the description of this video. So here it is from the end zone view. Mahomes takes the snap. You can see all the traffic here on this side so that Pirine is able to make this catch with enough room that he can eat up some space, turn the corner, and get that first down, getting down inbounds and sealing the AFC title for the Chiefs. We're now on their way to the Super Bowl. All right, so now we're at 9:02 to go in the first quarter. It's a 0-0 game, and the Chiefs have a 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 12-yard line. So let's run their play, and then we'll talk about it. Got Mahomes in the gun. He's got Gray and Kelsey alongside him with Hunt behind. He hands off to Hunt, who cuts left and gets all the way to the end zone for a touchdown to open up the scoring. 7-0 Chiefs. Now, those of you who have been kind of following this film review through and have watched the section on the Patrick Mahomes plays will note that we broke down the Patrick Mahomes touchdown run in the fourth quarter and mentioned how it's the exact same play as this one right here, which it is, coming out of the same formation with the same setup. So here we've got Kelsey and Gray. Gray shifts over to the right, and they run the exact same concept, which is a read off of a GT counter. So GT counter is when you have the guard and the tackle pull, and then the running back would take a false movement on this side and then follow into the hole. So that is one aspect of this play, and then the other aspect of the play is that the two tight ends are going to lead out into the flat. So Mahomes has a read. He's reading an unblocked edge defender here. If the defender crashes in, he keeps the ball and he'll run out and be led by the two tight ends, and that's what he did on his touchdown run. However, if the edge stays put here, then he hands it off to Kareem Hunt, who goes on his counter action, which is what happened on this play. So here you see the pulling. You're going to have Caliendo and Tooney block here. Humphrey's going to block here. And then you've got Smith will come and get the edge over here. And Taylor is going to lead Hunt into the hole. What Mahomes is doing is he's reading the edge over here. And he feels like the edge doesn't crash down completely to where he'd be able to impact this run. So when, it looks like he's starting to crash down, but then he slows his motion as he sees the mesh point. So Mahomes hands off. And Hunt follows Taylor through the hole. Taylor does a good job kind of keeping this linebacker off of him. And then it's kind of one-on-one for Hunt, as Brown does enough of a job blocking his guy that Hunt just has to make one man miss, get in the end zone for the touchdown. But as you can see here, had this defender crashed in, you can see Gray and Kelsey are coming out to lead. So Mahomes would have kept this ball and he would have followed Gray and Kelsey and tried to score that way, which is what he ended up doing later in the fourth quarter on the exact same play. Now you can see it here in the end zone view. See Gray shift, and then here's the pulls. Trey Smith's coming over first to block Ajay Epinesa, and then Taylor will come through the hole. They're reading Rousseau here, the edge. And when Rousseau kind of stays and chops his feet, stays put, that's when Hunt gets the ball. And he's just following Taylor, who does a good job of sealing off this linebacker. And allowing Hunt, he basically just has to contend with 24. Nice stiff arm there. And then is able to break the tackle in the end zone for a touchdown, opening up the scoring at 7-0 Kansas City. The Bills attempted many quarterback sneaks in the AFC Championship game, and the CBS broadcast crew was talking about how the Chiefs really liked their plan against the Bills' quarterback sneak, particularly because they felt like Josh Allen very frequently went over the left guard, and so they were prepared for that. Josh Allen was actually very successful with the quarterback sneak throughout the regular season, and in this game, though, he had 3 quarterback sneaks that failed. So let's take a look at a few quarterback sneaks. We'll look at 4 different plays, one that was successful and then the 3 that failed, and kind of get into what it looks like the Chiefs were doing to try to stop these. We're going to start with 6:42 to go in the first quarter. At this point, the Bills are down 7-0, and they have a 3rd and 1 at the Chiefs' 42-yard line. So let's take a look at this play, and then we'll break it down. The Bills come up to the line. Allen does go left over the left guard, and he's able to fall forward for about 2 yards and get the first down. So for these, it'll be most informative to see the end zone copy. It's kind of hard to tell on the zoomed out sideline view. But one thing I want to draw a note to, because not all of these are going to look the same. Now, in many cases, you'll see that Allen is really trying to hit this B gap between the guard and the tackle, and that stays pretty consistent. But the way the Chiefs align is not always consistent. One thing that seems to come together a lot, in this case, the Chiefs weren't in really a jumbo package on this play, right? So if we go back, the Bills have 3 wide receivers on the field. They're actually in 11 personnel coming into the sneak. So they had lighter personnel, so the Chiefs matched with lighter personnel, even though they kept Mike Pennell in the game. They really only have 2 linebackers. So the Chiefs are in nickel, 3, 4, 5 defensive backs, but they've kept their run-stuffing nose tackle in. So this is a somewhat unusual quarterback sneak formation from the Bills, and they get the Chiefs in somewhat lighter personnel. The Chiefs do come in and protect the A-gaps, especially here, but Allen, as we know, is trying to come here. And the thing that looks most consistent, and we'll see this over and over again, is part of the Chiefs' strategy seems to be to take the defensive tackle on the opposite side. So they know Allen's going to go this way almost every time. Well, this defensive tackle, he is very intentional about coming in and trying to get to Allen's legs and arrest his momentum. And that's something that seems to come again and again when you watch this. They will send people down to occupy linemen, but if you notice, they have a lot of off-ball people in this area. And so I think the kind of double strategy here is to, one, get his legs from here and then get him up high from the off-ball guys that are not having to contend with the linemen kind of cutting them immediately. And I think those two things together were their strategy to try to get Allen. So I want you to watch Mike Pennell right here. As Pennell very intentionally is just knifing right in, and if you look, he's going to try to get Allen's hips or his legs to slow him down. In this case, Allen was able to get 2 yards and a first down, but we'll keep an eye on that strategy as we go through other sneak plays. So now we jump ahead to 23 seconds to go in the second quarter. The Bills have just scored a touchdown to cut their deficit to 21-16. On their extra point attempt, Justin Reed was called offsides, so the Bills then got to move it up to the 1 yard line, and they decided to try for a 2-point attempt. So here, trying to make it a 21-18 game right before halftime. Let's take a look at the play. We've got Josh Allen. Again, if you look at their personnel here, you've got them at 11 personnel. They've got 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and they try for the sneak. And Allen gets stuffed. He tries to pitch it to Curtis Samuel, who gets tackled by Jalen Watson. And the Chiefs are able to stop the 2-point attempt, and it stays at 21-16. So let's see the kind of principles we discussed last time. This time the Chiefs they have Leo Chenal in the game, so they're in their base personnel. They didn't go nickel, even though the Bills were in 11 personnel with 3 wide receivers. So what did we talk about last time? That we know that they seem to be trying to attack this B gap here. And what the Chiefs seem to be doing is they're taking their defensive tackle and really their bulk and trying to push the line, like get through the line laterally and get to Josh Allen at his hips and his legs. And on this side, even though they know he's coming here, they're not like putting up a bunch of big guys over here to stop him. What they're doing is using their stand-up guys to try to hit him up high. So let's watch this again, and again watch Big Mike Pennell and George Karlaftis here. And watch how they are just destroying the right side of this line, but they're intentionally moving laterally, trying to get to Josh Allen and slow him down. So they're kind of collapsing the line over there. On the other side, if you notice, Justin Reed is the one who's kind of standing in wait for Josh Allen. And Hicks and McDuffie are also there. So they have their defensive backs. Instead of kind of going low and trying to take out blockers, they are going right for Allen. So while the line is collapsing everything from this side, the defensive backs are coming up and trying to get Allen high. The hope is that someone from back here will get him more low. And here with the added help, really it took Reed, McDuffie, and Hicks, and then Nick Bolton came around and tried to help push too. They managed to stuff the sneak yet again. This time, or I shouldn't say yet again, this was the first one they stuffed actually. Allen, as he's going back, the whistle didn't blow, so he tried to lateral it back, but luckily Jalen Watson, with good awareness here, saw what was going on. Fortunately for Allen, Watson didn't notice a half second earlier, otherwise he might have just picked off this lateral and taken it back for 2 points for Kansas City. But you can start to see the strategy for the Chiefs in stopping the sneak. The first time they still got a first down, only 2 yards. This time the Chiefs were able to stop a 2-point conversion and keep the game at 21-16. So now we jump to 28 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Bills have a 3rd and 1. They're up 22-21 and driving with the ball. So they decide to go for a quarterback sneak. Got Josh Allen under center again in 11 personnel, right? The 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. And Josh Allen tries to sneak over the left side again, and the Chiefs stop him here. So again, we're kind of going on the same principles that we were talking about earlier. The Chiefs seem to be using the defensive tackle and generally line to get underneath, especially this guard, and get to the quarterback. And the principle on this side seems to be using the lighter personnel to try to come over the top to try to help out. So get him high from up here, get him low from back here is what they seem to be doing. And I want you to watch Chris Jones right here and how he decides to play this. First of all, he gets off the snap perfectly. Right as the ball is being snapped, he's moving. And he gets underneath the guard and right to Josh Allen. And manages to get him around the waist. At the same time, Drew Tranquil over here ends up going high. So Tranquil gets Allen high. Jones gets him low. And they end up just completely stonewalling him in place and preventing the first down. You can see it here from the end zone copy. Here's Jones. He's going to come in and look at Tranquil. He'll be the guy that's the high man. Jones just destroys this play coming in, and Tranquil comes up over the top. And the Chiefs get a big stop again, forcing a 4th down here. So you can see the strategy over and over again. And the Bills did adjust on one. Actually, it's the next play. They ended up on 4th down sneaking by having Allen just dive over the top. They converted, though Allen fumbled, and then they didn't try that when they had their next QB sneak, which we will break down now. Now we get to the 4th down at 13:01 to go in the 4th quarter. Bills are up 22-21, and they have a 4th and half a yard trying to get to the 40-yard line. And here is what they run, again coming out in 11 personnel. And Allen tries to sneak it and gets incredibly close, but is ultimately ruled to be just short. Here it's honestly tough to tell. I mean, he looks awfully close, but And you can see the ball is like right there. And I know we're not straight looking down the yard marker, but I mean, I don't know. Once they called it short in real time, I don't know how they overturned that. But it definitely doesn't seem clear that he ever, like, absolutely got to the line. I honestly don't know that I'd be able to overturn it the other way either, had they called it good. I don't know. So you see he's got the ball in his right hand until he falls here. So the ball's in his right hand, which makes it even harder to say that he's gotten it, as like he'd imagine the ball somewhere around here, and his right hand at his chest. So then the question is does he have it there? I don't know. It's very hard to tell. I can understand why they didn't overturn that on replay. Very, very tight in these sneak situations. But anyway, let's see what the Chiefs did. So again, they tried to do the same thing, have Chris Jones come and like knife in. The Bills did a little better job walling him off, although Karlaftis did manage to try to come in. But the Chiefs really built a wall pretty well underneath this time with Mike Dana. Mike Dana did a great job of getting push into that B gap. And then again, it was the second level guys going high. So Bolton and then Connor going high here, and they were able to be that final wall that prevented anything from happening. They got an assist as well from Drew Tranquil coming in behind at the end right here, coming off the pile and helping. But it was really those two guys stonewalling Allen at the very end and preventing any forward momentum. Nick Bolton's a hard guy to move back, and he really managed to grab a hold of Allen up high and prevent him from getting north-south, which ultimately got the Chiefs this big stop and allowed them to get back in the game. Because, you know, honestly, with the Bills driving up 22-21, there was a worry that they could take a 2-possession lead in the fourth quarter. And instead, the Chiefs got the ball back and ended up coming down and being able to score. But the Chiefs' ability to handle this quarterback sneak and the Bills' general unwillingness to shift from their strategy of going to the left side, which the Chiefs clearly had game planned and were comfortable defending, ended up resulting in 3 failed quarterback sneaks. This one being the most consequential, another one failing a 2-point conversion. And the third one was on this drive. So then, you know, the drive ended up continuing to go anyway, even though they failed the sneak on third down. But, you know, this was a talking point among the Chiefs, and it ended up being a really crucial decider in this game. Their ability to defend the Josh Allen quarterback sneak and the Bills' continuance going over the left guard, even when the Chiefs knew that's what was coming. So we're now at 10:30 to go in the second quarter. The Chiefs are up 7-3, and the Bills have the ball first and goal at the Chiefs' 6-yard line. So let's take a look at this play, and then we'll come back and break it down. We got Josh Allen in the gun, trips to his right, single receiver on the left. He hands it off to James Cook, who gets around the edge on the left side and in for a touchdown to give the Bills their first lead of the day at 10-7. So let's take a look at what happened here on this play. The Bills come out here in 11 personnel. They've got one running back, James Cook. Their tight end this looks like Dawson Knox. And they've got 3 wide receivers. This looks like Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir, and then Mack Hollins isolated on the left. So this is a nice little play that they've run here. It's actually when Tom Brady was covering the Washington Commanders games, he kept calling these plays triple options because the quarterback has 3 choices that he can make. I kind of say that Brady's calling it triple option because to me, the kind of conception of the triple option is that, historic college football play where the quarterback can hand it off to the fullback, take it and run, or pitch the option pitch to the running back. So whenever I say triple option, that's what I'm thinking of. But this is another situation where the quarterback has three options. The first being that handoff to Cook going this way. His second option is to keep it himself and run. And the third option, he's going to have Khalil Shakir and Amari Cooper come out and block, and Dawson Knox come out to the flat. So he can flip it to Dawson Knox if they like the numbers over here. Little swing pass to him with a couple blockers in front. So the first thing for Josh Allen to read is the numbers in the run game, and that'll really be told to him by kind of the edge defenders here, how much they're going to commit. Because you see on the second level, they're over the trips, right? So the Chiefs have defenders committed here. The linebackers are shifted a little bit over to the strength of the formation. Bolton here and Tranquil here. And they know their run action is going this way. So the first thing to check is what kind of commitment, numbers-wise, do they have to the run? So he's reading the unblocked defender, kind of the overhang defender here, when deciding to hand this off or keep it. So as Cook's coming, he's got everybody blocked up. They've got 5-on-5 here. Bolton is still shaded over to this side. And he's got the unblocked defender over the edge, is Shamari Connor right here. And so he's kind of watching him. Now Connor breaks down. As you can see, he's not hard committing down the line. So that's an indication to the quarterback to hand this off, because Connor is there and wait if Allen is going to keep this ball. So Allen reads that, realizes he has numbers in the run game, and just hands it off. If Connor had crashed, then Allen would have kept this ball, and then he would have decided at that point whether, Connor's out of the picture here. And so then you're kind of seeing if he's more worried about Justin Reed coming to him, or if he's more worried about Justin Reed coming to Dawson Knox. Additionally, you'd read Bolton too to see if he was going to impede the running ability. But in this case, the read was Connor. Connor's action breaking down here made it the correct call to hand it off to James Cook. So Cook takes this and actually kind of looks like he's out leveraged to start. If you notice, Tershawn Wharton is to the left of his blocker, and so is Charles Omenihu. So you figure at this point that the Chiefs are in good position to prevent Cook from getting to the edge. However, that doesn't stop Cook. He trusts his speed, and I think this is one of the things that makes him one of the most underrated running backs in the league. He is deceptively quick, and he's smart. And I think he knows from this position he can beat them to the edge, especially if you're a defensive lineman in this position. You're not thinking he's going to try to beat you outside. And Tony Romo did a good job of mentioning this in the broadcast. You're not thinking he's going to beat you outside. You have the outside leverage here. So your presence, you feel like, is going to indicate to him that he's going to try to find some place to cut it upfield. At the very least, you figure if he does try to get to the edge, you're in good position to try to handle it. But I think they underestimated, especially Charles Omenihu, underestimated Cook's speed here. Because if you notice, you can see Omenihu kind of takes a little bit of an angle as he's trying to come in. And if he had kept this flat or just respected his speed a little bit and maintained his depth, he probably would have been able to force James Cook to stop and bring it back inside where he was going to have help from Wharton and potentially Bolton. And I can't see right now who this is. Who is that over there? Is that Chris Jones? That's Chris Jones. So really, like, the point of getting to the edge and stopping them is that your pursuit and your help is coming from the inside. So Omenihu, I think, is a little too confident in his own speed here, and he comes down. You can see him getting depth. He's coming from right around, at this point, the 7-yard line, and he ends up at about the 8 when he's trying to make the tackle. So instead of keeping this flat or even going a little bit toward the goal line, knowing that you're going against a faster defender, he brings it in, and Cook is able to get around the edge. And at this point, then, Hollins does a really good job of blocking McDuffie. And once he's got the edge, Cook's going to score. Bolton isn't quite able to get there fast enough. Cook is very quick. He gets around the corner, and he scores. And the Bills take the lead. you can see from the blocking perspective here. So remember, Josh Allen's initial read is right here. He's going to look at whether Connor is going to commit and really come hard down the line to try to get the running back. In that case, Allen keeps it and comes out and continues the action. But if you see Connor, he's breaking down. He's not committing hard. Look at the distance when Allen's at the mesh point. Look how far away Connor would be from making any play on the run game. So he's not worried about it. You hand it off here. You like your numbers. You got hat on a hat throughout here. The run's going left. Bolton, as we saw, is not going to be able to get there in time. So this is very favorable numbers to hand this off. Allen makes the right decision. And you can see with Cook, Omenahu's on the outside, Wharton's on the outside. So initially you feel like you're in a good spot here if you're the Chiefs. Omenahu's able to disengage. And I really feel like had he kept this flat, he would have been able to prevent Cook from getting the edge. But look at him moving in this direction. And Cook is fast enough to get around him, which is what he does. And Bolton, again, if Bolton had come, I don't mean a respect thing as far as they're disrespecting Cook, but in real time, they're not processing how quick he is. And I think that's one of the things that makes Cook so good is he's not quite as heralded as I feel like he should be. When somebody like him is trying to get to the edge, you should be thinking, okay, a fast guy is trying to get the edge. I got to treat this like this is a fast guy and respect the speed. And neither Bolton nor Omenahu have a proper gauge for his speed on this play. And that's why he's able to get around them. He's quicker than they think, gets to the end zone for the touchdown. We now jump ahead to 4:06 to go in the second quarter. The Bills are down 14-10 at this point, and they have a 2nd and 10 at their own 30-yard line. So we'll take a look at this play, and then we'll break it down. Josh Allen's in the gun. He's got trips to his right and then motions Amari Cooper over to the left. Comes and makes a check at the line. Takes the snap, drops back and gets pressured. He throws left to Curtis Samuel, who's not able to corral the ball. Got an incompletion leading to 3rd down. So why did I choose this play to break down of all plays? Well, this one is specifically for the Chiefs get all the calls crowd because there was a missed penalty on the Bills on this play. So what's going to happen on this play? The Bills are in 11 personnel. Their tight end is over here. I actually can't see who that is. Who is that? That looks like Kincaid, right? That's Dalton Kincaid. And the running back is James Cook. So one running back, one tight end gets you 11 personnel, and they've got 3 wideouts here. This is Samuel up at the point, Shakir, and Amari Cooper. So they motion Cooper over. And they're going to run Cooper out up the sideline. Shakir is going to come and run like a return route over the middle. And they have a mesh concept with Samuel and Knox. And Knox, sorry, this isn't Knox, this is Kincaid. Kincaid is going to come here and try to set a pick. I think on the earlier section in of this, I might have referred to Dawson Knox as Dalton Schultz. For some reason, I confuse the two of them. The Chiefs just played Dalton Schultz last week, the Texans tight end. But anyway, here I am getting all my the Bills tight ends confused. But Dalton Schultz, Texans, Dawson Knox, and Dalton Kincaid are Bills. And this one looks like Dalton Kincaid. Anyway, so Kincaid is trying to run the pick to get Samuel open. And if you watch the previous section, the one where I talked about Patrick Mahomes' plays, you'll see that the Chiefs ran 2 very nice rub concepts, one on a mesh with Travis Kelce being the guy setting the pick, and another one on Xavier Worthy's touchdown where Juju Smith-Schuster was the guy doing the rub concept. This is how you don't want to do a rub concept. With what the Chiefs were able to do was to impede the defender without running into him. What Kincaid does is he just runs straight into Drew Tranquil to try to get Curtis Samuel free. I mean, this is offensive pass interference. You're not allowed to, you have to run a route. You're not allowed to target a defender and just run into him to get in his way like this. this is offensive pass interference and should have been flagged on this play, but it wasn't called on the Bills. Fortunately for the Chiefs, Curtis Samuel wasn't able to come up with this pass, and it ended up just being incomplete. One of the reasons why Samuel wasn't able to come up with this pass was because Chris Jones, as he did frequently in this game when matched up one-on-one, just destroyed his matchup. This time it was the left guard, getting immediate pressure, which seems to have influenced Allen's throw. I think he got it off in a little more of a hurry than he wanted to, and it wasn't his best throw, but this should have been caught. Samuel had to go to the ground. If not, if he can catch this on the run, there's some real potential here. But the throw was kind of low and away. He had to go down to try to get it, and he wasn't able to corral it, and it led to an incomplete pass. So from the end zone copy, we can see Jones's pressure a little better. Right here, he comes in attacking the outside shoulder of the guard, and then he does such a good job getting underneath his hands and pushing up. He's so strong. So he just gets underneath into his pads and just shoves off of him and comes inside. I think Allen is pressured a little bit by the presence and brushes this throw just a little bit. But you can see here the pick, which is clear offensive pass interference here, just running into Tranquil. It wasn't called, but fortunately for the Chiefs, Samuel didn't make the catch. So one in the pocket of the people that are defending the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't get all the calls. We just don't remember the situations where they don't get the call. So we're now at 3:56 to go in the second quarter. The Chiefs are up 14-10, and the Bills are about to punt it back to Kansas City. Let's take a look at the play, and then we'll break it down. They get the punt off, and Nikko Remigio ends up fielding it at about the 24-yard line and immediately cuts to his left. He manages to break, contain, and get to the sideline. At about the 40-yard line, he cuts it back and ultimately is tackled right around the 34-yard line. A big return of 41 yards, setting the Chiefs up in excellent field position with a chance to take a 2-score lead. So, what happened on this return? Well, the first thing you can see as we take a look at how the Chiefs are setting up their punt coverage is that this is clearly a designed return to their left. Starting with having two on the gunner over here that are very aggressively just trying to take him out. So the gunner on the left side, they're trying to make a complete non-factor in this return so that, he's one of the main people that will be responsible for contain on that side. So look at the kind of aggressive tactic with this gunner compared to on the other side. They're trying to shove him out of bounds. The two here are able to kind of mug him and keep him way down the field, preventing him from getting any contain here. The second thing to look at is, as he's about to field the punt, look at how the blockers on this side are leveraging themselves. They are all trying to force the people they're blocking to the right side of the field to try to create a wall for Remigio to be able to go left. So look at the angles that they're trying to take on the people they block. There's clearly an intentionality here to block in this direction. And I think the person that ultimately, with the gunner out of the picture, the person that you'd give the most responsibility to coming from the right side then is this fellow here. You want to make sure somebody's got to have contained to prevent that cutback. On this side, you have the sideline that's helping you out a little bit. There's a lot of field here. Somebody's got to stay wide enough to prevent a cutback. And he, right here, allows himself to get blocked inside to a good degree. Look at the wall that they're able to form. There's no Bills player here. Everybody got moved to this side of the field, whether by their initial trajectory or the kind of leverage being used by the Chiefs return team to move them over to the right. So even as Remigio fields the ball, look at the path he has. Every Bills person has a Chiefs person to the left of them. And so Remigio does a good job of fielding this, and he gets immediate pressure that he's able to shake a quick tackle, and then he's off to the races. He's set up to go and really doesn't have much to contend with. He just has to beat this defender to the sideline, and then he's good to go. It's really well set up by the Chiefs, and being able to take out the gunner over here, and then the two kind of people on the leftmost side of the Chiefs' return, they were able to take care of, and one kind of keep him downfield and the other keep him inside so that Remigio was able to out-leverage him. And once he gets to the edge, it's off to the races. Swayze Bozeman, too, if you look, he's one of the last people down the field. He's another one to pay attention to. Watch where he comes and sets up. He comes down the field, and he's ready. See, even the people that are late down the field because they were protecting against the block, even look where they are setting up. They're trying to leverage defenders in this direction. Swayze Bozeman gets set up for the second part of this return. This is really well designed. And he's ready up here to make sure that nobody's able to prevent this down the sideline. So this was a very concerted effort by the Chiefs, very well coached up. And then Remigio cuts it back and gets tackled at the 34 for a huge return. And finally, I want to shout out 42 on the Bills because he saved a touchdown with an incredibly high effort play. So 42 on the Bills starts over here. He comes all the way down the field, and he's the first person that Nikko Remigio actually makes miss. There he is. So he's on the ground behind the play. The play has left him. Now, how many people in this position will you see just kind of lie on the ground, look back forlornly at the fact that they've missed a tackle and just stare at the return going down? Well, he didn't do that. He got up, and look at the path he takes. He's starting over on the right side of the field at about the 22-yard line. And look at him follow this play all the way down. And as Remigio cuts in, he makes the tackle. So huge, huge play from 42. Great hustle play, because take him out of the picture. Let's say he did forlornly just sit back, lie down there, which I feel like we've seen many players do, right? Oh man, I missed the tackle, and just hang out there. Well, snapshot it right here then. Imagine he's gone. Remigio's cutting this back in the middle of the field, and he's just got the punter and literally an entire football field a returner versus a punter with, it's not at all a tight space. Like, this is a touchdown. Remigio is 100% taking this for a touchdown, if not for 42. So big play by this guy, being on the ground at the 19-yard line and then running all the way across the field and making the tackle at the 34. Huge play by him. That's some real hustle. Here again, you can see the intentionality of the Chiefs. Look at where they're leveraging themselves. So you can see Swayze Bozeman already heading over here. The Chiefs are trying to get to the left and push people back right. And this one, like I said, is the key. They lost contain after Mack Hollins was kind of beat up by the two gunners, who did a great job of keeping him from coming and getting contained. Last hope here was, I think that's 41, and they did a good job keeping him inside as well. And so Remigio is able to get out. Here's our guy that's going to make the tackle all the way over here. And the Chiefs did a good job. And then look at Swayze Bozeman looking for work over here. Leo Chanel trying to stay outside and leverage. Swayze Bozeman makes a big block there. And then again, look at this cutback. If 42's not there, Remigio's going to score. That was a great hustle play by him. And the Chiefs ended up with the ball at the 34-yard line. We're now at 29 seconds to go in the first half. The Chiefs have a 21-10 lead at this point. And the Bills have a second down at the Chiefs' about 34-yard line. It looks like it's about a 2nd and 10 at the Chiefs' 34-yard line. So let's take a look at what they run, and we'll break it down. So we got Josh Allen in the gun. He's got 2 to his left, 1 to his right. Got the running back in the backfield with him. Well, he's got 2 to his right, too, with the tight end. He drops back, and he throws a dart to Mack Hollins, caught in the end zone for a touchdown, and the Bills bring this to a 1-score game. So what happens on this play? Josh Allen, again, the Bills are in 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and they've got 3 wide receivers, Hollins and Shakir over here on the left, and Amari Cooper is here on the right. So what they're going to do, they're going to run, well, the running back's going to motion, so let's get that over there too. The running back's going to go out to the flat where he's going to get picked up by Drew Tranquil. Khalil Shakir is going to come in and then out, and he's going to be followed by Jalen Watson. Mack Hollins is going to run straight up the seam, and he's going to be carried by Trent McDuffie. Kincaid kind of comes out and runs a corner or an out route, and he gets carried by Justin Reed. And then you can see Amari Cooper is going to come and run a return, like a whip route. And he is guarded over here. Actually, that's Jalen Watson. So who's the one over here? I guess this is Najee Johnson up here. So the part of this play that's a little difficult to understand is what exactly the safeties, Brian Cook and Jaden Hicks, have as their responsibilities. Because in a typical coverage, one would anticipate that they would try to stay on top of everything. But Brian Cook, I don't know if he's supposed to be topping this route. You would think so, that he would be, the deep help on this route. But for whatever reason, he stays on top of Shakir. I don't know if he was supposed to bracket Shakir in this coverage call or what exactly is going on here. But you would typically expect, it looks like a 2-deep shell. You'd expect Hicks and Cook to stay on top of everything. Hicks, too, he kind of comes out wide. It's not like he's like playing a traditional 2-deep. So I'm not sure what their coverage call here is. It's hard to understand why it would be set up, unless he's specifically just bracketing Shakir, why it would be set up that he wouldn't stay over the top of the deepest route in this situation, especially as it's just the number 2 receiver going down. So I don't know what happened. But in any case, Cook was not over the top. McDuffie was in one-on-one coverage, and honestly, he was in very good coverage. This is a great throw by Josh Allen, and it was timely. You wonder what would have happened if the Chiefs had over the top, because Chris Jones won on this 3-man rush very quickly and was about to pressure Allen. So it's unfortunate. To Allen, this is the kind of throw he's going to make all the time, right? He's got to go route his guy. It's good coverage, but he's got a bigger receiver, and he's got half a step. There's no safety over the top. Josh Allen's going to take that throw, and he throws a beauty. And look at, McDuffie really is in fantastic coverage. It's just over his outstretched arm for a touchdown. Now, this will be another one for the Chiefs get all the calls crowd, because this ref throws a flag for pass interference, and I cannot understand what he is looking at that makes him think this is pass interference. This is just excellent coverage from Trent McDuffie. Comes over, tries to make a play on the ball. He didn't come early. It's weird to me that the ref standing here watching what we're watching decided that was pass interference. That seems like a terrible flag to me. It didn't end up mattering because Hollins caught it. But I do not understand why this would be called pass interference. This is excellent coverage. This is one that Chiefs fans would have been furious about had Hollins caught this ball or not caught this ball. So we can see it from Josh Allen's perspective. Karlaftis kind of tries an inside rush. Jones very effectively rushes around the edge and would have been there to put a lot of pressure and give a difficult time to Josh Allen had he not had Mack Hollins down the seam and down the numbers. Great throw. Again, you can see it from here. What would the official see as pass interference here? No idea. But the flag came out, and you can see it thrown right there. I don't know. This is, to me, is great coverage by McDuffie, legal coverage by McDuffie, and a great throw by Josh Allen. Big touchdown for the Bills. They ended up making it 21-16 as they would fail the 2-point conversion, and that would be the score going into halftime. Now we jump to 3:01 to go in the third quarter. The Bills are down 21-16, and they have a 4th and goal at the Chiefs' 1-yard line. Let's take a look at the play, and then we'll break it down. Josh Allen steps back to the gun. He's got one running back on either side. Takes the snap, and they're running an option to the right. He pitches to James Cook, who's hit by Justin Reed and Nick Bolton, and manages to stretch across for a touchdown to give the Bills the lead. So let's break this play down. The Bills come out in 22 personnel. So a lot of these kind of short yardage situations, they're not really going jumbo here. But they really go, actually, looks like 23 personnel, I should say. Yeah. So they really go jumbo here. I think this is a tight end as well. I don't know the Bills' personnel that well, but the 2 running backs and 3 tight ends. 2, 3. So they don't even have a wide receiver on the field. All their eligible receivers are running backs and tight ends. So big jumbo package. Which is atypical, as we saw when in the segment where we talked about sneaks. A lot of times they actually had 11 personnel even when they were running quarterback sneaks. But the Chiefs, let's see, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got 5 down linemen. Then they've got, this is Justin Reed over here. Let's see, who do they have here? Is that Mike Dana? Who is that? That is Mike Dana. So that's a 6th lineman. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive linemen here on the field. And then they've got 2 linebackers. And there's Justin Reed. I think that's McDuffie. Or is this McDuffie? And then who is that over there? Is that Jaden Hicks? Okay, so this is Jaden Hicks. This is McDuffie. So they've got 2 linebackers, 2 safeties, a corner, and 6 defensive linemen on the field. So they come out in jumbo as well. So what they're running, the Bills, is they're just running an option play with Josh Allen and James Cook going to the right. So they're happy to release these 2 on the backside. They're not really worried about anything going on there. This does have like a pass option to it. If Allen stops and pops, he's got 85 wide open for a touchdown. But it looks like they're committed to the option here because you can see clearly on this backside they are running routes. So if Allen didn't like the numbers on this side, he could have stopped to throw and wide open for a touchdown here. But they're running the option. And the Chiefs actually come out and leverage it pretty well. Mike Dana's here. They've got Bolton coming out here, and they force the pitch. Dana does mainly by committing to Allen, and Justin Reed does a great job coming off of his block. And great tackler in the flat. He comes to make a hit, but this is where, again, James Cook is so underrated. He just gets high enough as Reed goes low that he's able to continue his momentum. If Reed hits him more like with the leg planted or the thigh planted, he's able to just stop him. But Cook gets off the ground so that Reed kind of clips him and he's able to continue his forward momentum. And as Bolton gets there to make the hit, Cook is able to plant that hand on the ground and extend just enough to get the ball over the goal line before he goes down. I mean, it's a really great individual effort, and it was extremely frustrating as a Chiefs fan because if you're in this position right here with a tackler like Justin Reed, you figure like 9 times out of 10, I think on the podcast I said 95 times out of 100 you get this stop. This was fourth down. And the Bills just really made a lot of clutch, timely plays to stay in this game. I feel like on the aggregate, play by play, the Chiefs seemed like they were doing better throughout the game, but the Bills continued to be so clutch and hung in this game, and it was incredibly frustrating to watch as a Chiefs fan. I mean, this is such a great play by James Cook to be able to control his body, get his hand down, and reach over for a touchdown. Just a phenomenal effort and really, changed the outlook of this game here. If the Bills had been stopped, the Chiefs would have continued up 21-16 and got the ball back. So Dana, you can see here, forcing the pitch. And then as Cook gets it, he does a good job, first of all, of getting north to south quickly. And look at him. He's able to slide to his left a little bit and get that foot off the ground. He actually kind of slips the tackle a little bit. It's a really nice, subtle, good move from Cook. And then Bolton gets a hit on him, gets him sideways, but Cook is able to get that hand down. And, man, the balance, to be able to, the strength right there to hold. He's got to hold up long enough to extend that ball. I mean, that's really, really well done. And, man, at this time, as a Chiefs fan, I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, how can we not put this team away? They're just doing enough to continue to stay in this game. And we needed some of those marginal plays to go our way, and they didn't for a little while, but fortunately they turned around. We're now at 6:20 to go in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs are up 29-22, and the Bills have a 4th and goal at the Chiefs' 4-yard line. Let's take a look at the play, and then we'll break it down. We've got Josh Allen in the gun. He's got Khalil Shakir coming around in an orbit motion. He drops back and throws it to Curtis Samuel in the back of the end zone for a touchdown, and the Bills tie the game with just over 6 minutes to go at 20. So what happened on this play? So the Bills come out, and they are in 11 personnel, as they were for most of this game. 1 running back, 1 tight end. And then their 3 wide receivers. They've got Samuel here, Shakir here, Amari Cooper over here. So what they do is they run Dalton Kincaid up toward the back of the end zone. They have Williams come out to the flat, and then Shakir follows him. And then they have Samuel kind of come in on the first level and come back to the second level of the end zone, and Amari Cooper run an in cut. And as Samuel comes across, the Chiefs just drop him. So he comes across, he looks like he's running more shallow, but at this level he takes it back, and Tranquil passes him off. And based on this, you have to think that this was Justin Reed's responsibility to, he didn't have anybody from this side going to the back, but at least to kind of turn and look at some point to see if the back of the end zone needed covering. Somebody dropped this, right? It's either over here. I can't see who the DB is. That's McDuffie. It's either McDuffie or Reed, I would think, and I imagine it's probably Reed that's supposed to keep an eye out to see if anybody comes back. Honestly, it looks like he was kind of distracted by this orbit motion from Shakir. As Shakir comes on this side, it looks like Reed's eyes are in the backfield as the ball is being snapped, trying to see if Shakir is going to come out to the flat. You see him take a step in that direction, but then Shakir ends up coming in this direction. And I think Reed was supposed to be the one that if anything happened, you got to turn and run and make sure that nobody's coming to the back of the end zone. But in any case, Samuel was dropped. It's a really frustrating way to have a 4th down play. As we had talked about before, the Bills had been really clutch in these tough situations, and it was rough to just give them one with blown coverage, Samuel being wide open in the back of the end zone. So here it is from the perspective of Josh Allen. Drops back here, and the Chiefs actually get pretty good pressure. Not fantastic, but Chris Jones again wins very quickly. But Allen's able to get a quick throw off here, so he's not able to fully affect it. Also, the left guard does a good job of coming off his double team with Omenihu to help prevent Chris Jones from just screaming in at the quarterback. But, I mean, Josh Allen, he's not going to have much of an easier throw than that. I will say Reed did a good job of getting close to tipping this. That would have been a great way to save face, tip this ball, but unfortunately not able to, and Samuel wide open in the back of the end zone. The Bills tied the game. All right, it's now 2:17 to go in the game. The Bills are down 32-29, and they have the ball 3rd and 10 at their own about 42-yard line. They're looking to try to get down the field and score, to either kick a field goal to tie this or take a touchdown to get the lead late in this one. And they're facing a 3rd and 10. Here's the play, and then we'll talk about it. We've got Josh Allen in the shotgun. He drops back and fires a quick wide receiver screen to Amari Cooper, who gets tackled for a gain of 5, setting up 4th down. So, what happened on this play? The Bills come out. They've got running back in the backfield, and they're at 11 personnel, tight ends out here. Otherwise, they've got 3 wide receivers. Steve Spagnuolo, as he is known to do in high leverage situations, decides to blitz, and he calls a cover 0 blitz. So he's actually bringing 7. He's got Chanel, Hicks, and Reed all blitzing. So they're man-to-man across the board, and they've got no deep safety help at all. Josh Allen recognizes the 0 blitz, and he seems to check to a wide receiver screen. So he immediately sees the blitz. We're going to throw a wide receiver screen, and look at how it's set up. They've got Shakir coming out to get McDuffie, Spencer Brown, the right tackle, coming to get Shamari Connor. The way that it's set up here, this looks like it could be a touchdown. It's a perfect call. Karlaftis often knocks these kinds of passes down. In this case, he wasn't able to. And in this position, look at where the Chiefs are. Shakir does actually a really good job of getting, and that's not easy to do, get McDuffie blocked up, and Spencer Brown's coming at Shamari Connor, and the Chiefs are in trouble. This is where we have got to, we talk a lot about the effort of George Karlaftis. This is where George Karlaftis makes his impact. I mean, he's been great throughout the postseason. He's been pressuring the quarterback a lot, but these are those plays that win games. Karlaftis, he comes through. He tries to tip the ball. Look where he is when the ball's caught. He's relentless, and McDuffie tries to come back. He's not going to be able to influence this. Shamari Connor falls down. Karlaftis gets to Cooper, gets him around the ankles, and stops him. If not for Karlaftis' effort here, this is probably a touchdown. Instead, Karlaftis grabs him, stops him, and it's 4th and 5. Huge play by George Karlaftis, allowing the Chiefs to keep the Bills out of the end zone. Again, you can see the blitz, and Allen's just in the right play call. He knows, he sees it, he's ready, and it's this man right here, his effort, that saves the Chiefs, gets him into 4th down. Look at him just dive and get enough. He's hanging on to one leg of Amari Cooper. Touchdown saving tackle, gets the Bills into 4th down, and what would ultimately be their final offensive play of the game. And here it is, the play that has been talked about a lot by a lot of people and broken down. The Bills' last offensive play of this game, a 4th and 5 with 2 minutes to go in the game. The Bills' final chance to try to come back and tie or win this game. Let's take a look at the play that I'm sure you've seen many times before, and then we'll break it down. So Allen is in empty. He gets Khalil Shakir coming in and doing an orbit motion. He gets pressured immediately and heaves one up to Dalton Kincaid, who is not able to come down with the catch, and the Chiefs get a big stop on 4th down. So let's break down what happened on this play. First, with Steve Spagnuolo's diabolical pressure here. So we've talked about a lot on this film review series that Spags loves running blitzes when he's got condensed formations, right? When he's got defensive backs that don't have to go out wide and instead are able to come in closer to the formation because of a condensed look, it's a shorter distance to the quarterback, so he loves blitzing DBs from that situation. Look at how he's got everything set up here at the line. So he's got his 4 down linemen, Dana, Jones, Omenihu, and Karlaftis. He's also got Justin Reed up at the line and Nick Bolton up at the line. So from this formation, Josh Allen is not anticipating a blitz, not at least from this side. And he actually they decide on the protection to slide the protection to the left. What they're trying to do is account for the presence of guys that they think are most likely to be rushing, and it's always a good idea to slide your protection toward Chris Jones. So with that protection call, you're really looking at something like this. The left tackle getting Mike Dana, the left guard getting Chris Jones, the center will initially have eyes on Nick Bolton, the right guard will have eyes on Charles Omenihu, and then the tackle is either going to take Reed or Karlaftis. Oftentimes what they do is they will either kind of squeeze inside and give the guy with the longest route to the quarterback free, or sometimes they do block outside. Allen knows that, he's got a free rusher coming in through his B gap. If there's a running back in the backfield, you can have the running back, be part of the protection there. But somebody's going to come free with this alignment, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You've got 6 people. If all 6 come, somebody's coming free, right? And so the way that the Bills end up blocking this, they slide everything in this direction. So the free guy is going to be one of these 2, depending on who the right tackle takes. So in true Spags form, he doesn't send all 6. He will show pressure from one side, and then he'll drop people out from that side. And he drops out Mike Dana and Nick Bolton. So you end up a situation where they're actually only rushing 4, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys here, and of those 5, this guy and this guy are accounting for people that aren't actually coming. So they already have a situation where somebody's going to come free, right? And in this case, it's Justin Reed, because he's still going to look for Dana as he's coming. He's still going to slide here. And the guard is going to slide here looking for Omenihu. And the tackle, in this case, decides to take Karlaftis. And so with their protection scheme, with these 6 guys lined up, even though Spags drops 2 of them, because they have to be accounted for in the pressure, and the linemen don't realize they're going to drop, Justin Reed in this comes through free. Well, Spags adds another wrinkle to that, and that is he blitzes McDuffie. So he gets a 5th guy coming, and 2 of them end up coming free, because McDuffie is not accounted for in the protection whatsoever. They're assuming that somebody's coming free, and they decide to let Reed as the guy who's free. So the line slides over. The left tackle has nobody to block because his guy dropped out. The center has nobody to block. His guy dropped out. The right guard is still leaning toward Omenihu, not knowing that the center could pick him up at this point because Bolton dropped. And so he lets Reed through, and then McDuffie follows him through as well. So ultimately then what happens is Josh Allen has no chance to do anything before he's got 2 guys screaming into his B gap. And part of the reason that can happen, you've got to give credit, is look at how wide Karlaftis' rush is. Well, that wide rush is intentional because it opens that B gap even wider for these guys to get in. And you can see from Charles Omenihu too, look, Omenihu's coming in this direction, Karlaftis is coming in this direction. Those are the guys that these blockers are trying to account for. So it just parts the seas even more for Reed and McDuffie to get through. And once that happens, Josh Allen is immediately dropping his eyes and having to bail. There was a lot of a conversation about whether Josh Allen should have gone to Khalil Shakir here out of the orbit motion. And as you can see, like, that's really a tough ask for him. You know, he drops back here and he's kind of goes instinctive right here. You see the two guys in the B gap. Most quarterbacks, especially guys who like to run, usually run toward their dominant hand. He runs over to the right, and that makes this throw like next to impossible at this point, right? I mean, even if he did, let's say, decide to flip it back to Shakir right now, it's not like the Chiefs didn't have some guys that potentially could have rallied the tackle. I mean, Shakir at this point is at the 36-yard line. He needs to get to the Chiefs' 48-yard line. That's 16 yards away from where he's standing right now to get to the first down. This is fourth down. So it's not a given to me that even if he had gotten this to Shakir, everything would have worked out. I mean, Shakir's really good in the open field. It wouldn't have been fun to see, but it's not a given that that would have worked. But you understand what happened with Allen here. He's got the two free rushers screaming in on him, and he just drops back and tries to find somebody. He's able to locate Kincaid, who it looks like Brian Cook here just kind of dropped, because it seems like as the Chiefs drop back, they end up with 5 out in coverage. Sorry, a 6. So usually they do some kind of 3-by-3 situation here. They've got Connor coming back, but Cook seems to get focused here on this crosser instead of Kincaid, who's running back behind him. The crosser is well accounted for with Dana and Bolton back here. You would think that Cook should stay back and help these two on the back end with these 3 taking the underneath. So I would imagine Cook is the one that probably should have hung with Kincaid instead of just letting him run free on this play. But Kincaid is not able to get to this ball and it drops incomplete. I mean, Allen, I feel like, and we talked about this on our podcast this week, that Allen did about as well as you can hope for in this situation, right? He has 2 free rushers immediately on him. He tries to bail to his right, and then the other part of this is Karlaftis does a good job of pursuing around the edge, and he really applies that final pressure that makes this a harder throw for Allen. And you can see how many people you kind of have to have rushing in order to really corral Allen. You know, you got 2 guys free through the B gap, and he's kind of evading both of them, but you need a third guy winning around the edge to help contain him, and that's what happened. Allen off his back foot falling down. I mean, look how far this ball goes. His back foot is on the 32-yard line. So crossing, getting to the 50, that's 18 yards. Then to the 40, that's another 10, so that's 28. This ball goes almost 30 yards, or it goes over 30 yards, really. Like, we're looking at maybe 32, 33 yards, something like that, in the air. And unfortunately, it's just a little short of... And I do think people can be a little more... give a little more credit to Dalton Kincaid. You know, everyone's like, oh, I should have caught this ball. Like, he's running in this direction. The ball is... coming well short of him. He's having to stop, and he's trying to track the ball throughout all this, right? The ball goes up in the air. He's like playing center field, having to stop his momentum and then dive back. This is not an easy catch. He could have made this catch, but saying that this was like a, Dalton Kincaid blew this play is a lot. I feel like he did pretty well to get back to the ball and have a chance. Allen did pretty well to get that ball out there. But that's not an easy play. I don't think that's like something to criticize Kincaid for. All right, so we can see the protections a little better from here. So remember, they're sliding left, so you've got this blocking scheme here. We're going to block you. We're going to block you. And he ends up taking Karlaftis, so they're kind of allowing Reed to come free here. I do wonder if part of their calculus was they thought Reed might drop out in this situation. Because in any case, Allen was surprised by the free rusher and then McDuffie comes too. So you can see from the beginning, right? Dana drops out. Dawkins takes Jones, who comes over. But you can see this guard was initially looking at Jones, and then he's coming back and looking for work. And the same thing is true of the center here. First, looking over for Bolton, and then looking for work with Omenihu. And then you see the same thing for the guard, right? The guard's looking over to Omenihu first, and he is not able to stop Reed from going by because that's not his initial assignment. So Spags kind of mugging up the area and then dropping guys back confused the Bills' protection. They let Reed in free, and then nobody accounted for McDuffie coming in. And Allen, that moment when he's got two free rushers and he sees them, like, he's bailing here. At that point, Shakir is right here. That's not an easy throw to make in this position, or not necessarily a throw that one would want to make in this position. Allen does a good job escaping here, but it's Karlaftis' rush that helps contain him. He did a good job of continuing his effort from that side, and Allen just heaves this up in the air. It was a great effort to get this ball off. Look how open Kincaid is. That's unfortunate that he got dropped in that position by the defense, but this isn't an easy look at Kincaid. His momentum is going down the field and to his right. He has to stop, track the ball, and get back over to his left. And that ball actually it looks like it goes through, and they said it hit him in both arms, but it really didn't. It hit him in the right crook of his right arm right there. Tough catch to make. That was a tough ball to track. And ultimately, that was it on fourth down. They gave the ball up to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs didn't give the ball back. Did a good job running out the clock and clinching the AFC title game. The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate all of you that watch our videos, that follow us on social media at STCF715 on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And those of you that download the podcast, wherever it is you can download podcasts, that's the Steeler Thoughts Chief Feelings podcast. We will be back with a Super Bowl preview episode of the podcast next week, and then we got the Super Bowl. Go Chiefs!